comes back in. So I think I'm leaning extreme, but I can see a world where Aurora, they're so aggressive that the items come into play and then they fix it. But yeah, this Queen of Pain pick is very, very scary.
How is Aurora going to deal with that Queen of Pain, Lacoste?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think they have the answer because Wind Ranger, when she is playing into this Mars matchup, into a lot of lockdown, she needs to buy Maelstrom into BKB, so you will not have Gleipnir available. Enigma will need to be that hero that's going to use Black Hole on this Queen of Pain. Otherwise, XM, he has a pretty free entry to the game.
I'm hearing a lot of pressure on Jabs, having to Black Hole and Muerta
and take
Queen of
towers.
Pain and take towers. That's a tough ask.
Good luck.
All right, so then I would imagine that for Extreme, they're going to try to shut down Jabs a little bit, Effie.
They should. I think Queen of Pain, like I mentioned, is an excellent rotator, but all of XG's heroes can play make if their side lanes get off to an okay enough start. You can all of a sudden bring your Marcy to the Queen of Pain. You can do these two-man smokes. You can invade the enemy jungle.
Okay, let's see what's going to happen in this first game of this best of 3. Before we head into the game, though, we're heading over to the stage where Tsunami is with Coach Sunby.
Thank you very much. I am joined by Sunby, coach of Aurora, where I was hoping to go back in time a little bit with you because it was a few months ago at PGL Wallachia that you spoke to me about the concept of fraudulent wins, which are wins that your team gets the W, but you're not really happy at how they got it. So I was wondering about your heroic series earlier. What was your stance on that as a coach?
I'm happy we won. I mean, like, honestly, yeah, it was probably one of those fraudulent wins, but win's a win, dub's a dub.
We take those, especially if it gets you to a stage like this. And how about taking heroes like Timbersaw? You are one of the few teams that have found success with it at this event. And was it a Jabs idea, was it a Lorinoff idea, or you didn't even know until the very end?
It is a bit of a scary pick, but I mean, yeah, no, our Timbersaw is really good. You know, other people, they just not like us.
You guys are built different. Well, I can't wait to see how it plays out, Sunby. Looking forward to this game number 1 as we send it to our casters.
Thank you so much, Neil, with the always good interview, hearing how they feel about the draft, how they feel about the Timbersaw, scary hero, and one that we weren't sure if we were even going to be able to see. It's so iconic for Aurora.
Yeah, there's a couple heroes who've had those L's over and over again, but the teams come back to them because they have the confidence. And he says, they not like us. We have the Timbersaw on lock here.
Unbelievable. Yeah, well, I'm really excited to see how the rest of this game goes, too. Already through the draft, we saw some crazy switch-ups at the end there. The Enigma, we saw this as an answer a couple of different times against these, like, iconic position ones. You think back to the way that, you know, Beast Coast were able to take down Hector, Vitaly playing on it, and this time all of that pressure is on Jabs. Can he hit the big black holes? Are they going to be able to shut down Ame?
It's the Aurora Classic, right? Leaving that last pick as late as they can in the draft for Jabs and putting a lot of pressure on him, right? Whether it's trying to go for a faster game with the Visage or trying to be the person who has to do so much in this one on this Enigma, it's just something that they've gone to before, and it's been successful. So all the pressure on Jabs, he knows how to handle it.
We'll see how it goes. As already out across the lanes, XM playing on a Queen of Pain, another super iconic hero, and one that is probably going to create a good amount of issues early on here. We've seen these Dagon build rushes, this item that's been like completely out of competitive, but now with this Masochist facet, you see it get rushed so often, and then you start getting this crazy intense burst damage out of her.
Yeah, I think the Queen of Pain, alongside pretty much every hero in this game, I look at the players and I think, yeah, they're happy. You know, like we're watching this draft and just thinking that they've all played a lot of these heroes. They all feel very comfortable on them. It just seems like comfort was the name for both teams here. I feel like they should all be super confident with their hero picks and player combinations. And that always makes for a very exciting mid-game.
Well, we'll see how the early laning stage goes out. Already looking pretty solid for Aurora. And of course, the Enigma, if you're not able to kill those Eidolons in the lane, it starts to become a pretty big issue. Ame will have some trouble CSing against that, most likely. And actually has the support of DY here in the position 5 Tinker, which if you're coming back from Dota after a long ways away, you'll not be super used to this, but he actually doesn't even have any cosmetics. That's how you know he's a 5 player.
That's right, yeah. Not quite ready for it. Does get a courier, but might pay for it.
And the battery assault, DY getting ran down. Will it be enough damage? The answer is yes. Jabs drawing that first blood.
Yes, the Martian Machine now heals, but it doesn't heal that much at this point in the game. So not going to keep DY alive here. The Clockwork at the earlier levels, pretty terrifying. Very hard to deal with the battery assault if he gets up close on top of you for most supports.
Well, and, you know, of course, that big switch up of having XinQ on Marci, it does kind of raise some questions like, are they going to be able to get enough farm onto XinQ, who so often for this team has been the playmaker, the one that gets a ton of farm, turns into that sort of fourth core? Will he be able to have a good game if Tinker's just farming up all around the map? Or maybe DY's going to play it differently.
Yeah, I imagine that XinQ's still going to get the lion's share of it, because you're right. I mean, they rely on him to make those rotations here, and alongside a Queen of Pain, yeah, we have ourselves a little bit more mobile XM than we sometimes do with his more static playstyle. So he's going to need XinQ's help.
Yeah, this ain't Viper.
No.
It's a little bit of a different from him or the little dwarf sniper that he sometimes runs. As comes on over, tries to interrupt the pull, but not quite going to be able to do that. Ollie makes sure that one gets off, and 23 Savage playing on the Wind Ranger. For me, like, this and Luna, and maybe Mirana, are like the heroes of the tournament. We've seen them so often. We know how you itemize. We know what the counters are. It feels like that's always one of the key things you need to watch for in these drafts.
Yeah, it's been getting harder and harder to win with this Wind Ranger hero because teams have just played against it so much that they recognize that with this Whirlwind facet, she just has like this window in a team fight.
Right.
And you have to play around that, and oftentimes it has to be with the BKB, so a lot of it's about just ensuring that when you try and go in, you get the finish. And they have a couple very good heroes for that, right? They have the ET to set up, they have the Clockwork to set up, and then they have the Black Hole as well. So there's definitely a way you can see where they can just chain it all together on Aurora, and it's going to be really hard to fight back as XG.
I want to see what the timing is that they try and pressure. Are we going to see some of these Twin Gate movements come out? Has been a thing that happens every now and then if the lanes get shoved a little bit too far.
Get a little spirit action there, you know,
absolutely.
the momentum ET coming all the way around.
That's a good call. Could be pretty nice. XM so far 28-7 versus the 23-2, a slight lead there. But yeah, the big one right at this moment feels like it's Muerta sort of styling a little bit on the Enigma. In spite of that early kill, Ame's getting a lot of CS here.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things you're kind of hoping for Enigma, is that you don't get like mad counterpicked here. We think about the bristles, the gyrocopters. This isn't the worst situation, but it's still a ranged hero who has a ranged support who's also hard to kind of bully with the Clockwork as long as DY keeps his space. So Ame's able to just kind of sit and click away. But Jabs, it's not like he's having like a terrible time. So net worth-wise, they're still pretty close.
You see there that early ward place down too, already anticipating that there could be a movement through. I mean, even honestly, a power shot or something like that could really cause some issues if the wave is really super shoved out, but they have to be in a position where they can get aggressive. So far, just hanging out, trying to bully back XXS when they can.
Yeah, the 6 happens first for XM here, so he immediately takes the high ground, is trying to pressure onto Lornov. Seeing if he can find something with that pure damage, but...
And Queen of Pain do it.
Yeah, no rotation, so... But still some respect there from Lornov, of course. He's looking to get 6 himself.
Right. Yeah, just going to whittle him down. If Lornov steps too far forward, that's a pretty easy move for a kill. The big thing to watch, 6-minute runes coming up as Q is going to stack those Ancients, and it is going to be an Arcane rune.
Oh, that's so good for your first rotation as Queen of Pain. Having that faster Sonic Wave to come back.
And now even glyphing the wave, wanting to run back behind it, takes a tower shot or two, but is going to bully all the way forward. Now XinQ is nearby, so too is Ollie.
Yeah, he's close on Ollie, but Lornov is so far behind. Like, he's still level 5.5 right now. He's a full level down on this Queen as the creeps are still coming in, so there's not really this, like, Spirit into Stomp setup because the creeps are back at the tier 1 dying. Lornov is out of XP range right now.
He needs to get these creeps killed right here. If he gets this, then he... Well,
no,
actually,
he missed
doesn't.
like a full wave.
Oh,
like,
man.
The range creep finally gets through.
He didn't even get it off of those other ones because he had his 2 supports nearby.
That's so brutal.
Those soaking a little bit of XP means Lornov still doesn't get level 6. And you can see how rough this little window ends up being here. Some pressure onto that tower. And XM might just be able to do it again, honestly. 7-minute mark, though.
Yeah, that's going to pull the supports away here. They're going to go back for these Wisdom runes, each grabbing one here.
But yeah, you can see. Needs to be very wary, and XM, as soon as he's off the map, you've got to play careful on these side lanes. Even if he's just farming up in the jungle without any extra knowledge of that, I mean, could be a very easy rotation for a kill onto Aurora.
And we just saw Lornov get 6. That's now level 7 there for XM in the mid. So quite the gap here.
And that extra time means Jabs, he gets to his level 6 as well. Unlikely you get great usage out of this killing Ame, but if you can, it would obviously be amazing. They do bring 3 down bottom, though. Tempting fate slightly there as Ollie and Q are going to back away. Kind of like an awkward support duo to make rotations and get kills until you start getting those ultis online.
Yeah, you really need the hook shot available there for Q. He's currently double stacking in the jungle, though, using his flare. So they're trying to make a big bank at Ancients,
Yeah,
help out their cores.
a nice way to try and set Lorenov up for some more success later. But in the meantime, it's constant pressure, and this tower now down below half HP. Just whittling away slightly.
Little indifferent play here. They're going for it.
A jump forward, wanting to find him. Dispose pulls back. Is it gonna damage? He's super low, and it is. I think you even saw a blood grenade get thrown in there as they find just enough damage.
Yeah, XM had one with him there just to make sure that first rotation was going to be successful. And, well, it didn't take much rotating. Just gets it right there in the mid. As 23 Savage now down bottom, matching up versus Ame.
Would love to get something here. Although, again, like you said, he's getting somewhat low on 23 Savage, too. Quap does not have Sonic Wave, but a rotation with just a couple points there might make the difference. And DY forcing 23 Savage back.
He actually can't get through the Twin Gate. He's going to have to TP back up top.
So now they know that he's stuck up here. And Aurora not able to get things going their way early, off to a 3,000 gold lead at just 9 minutes.
Yeah, and that's that mid tower down. Also level 8 on XM, has the 4 points in the Scream of Pain, because he took the second point in the Shadow Strike to help out with the laning stage, and it didn't even really punish him because he didn't have to rotate. You know, he got some help coming to mid lane. He had this big level advantage over the Timbersaw as well. So this has been going very, very well for all 3 cores of XG, as you can see, as they're the ones at the top of the chart. But they're not that far behind.
No.
Sure, Lorenov's not having the best time. But unfortunately, I guess the Enigma doesn't have the best early rotations. Neither does this Wind Ranger. We all know how greedy she feels. She wants this Maelstrom. And then into that early BKB more than likely. It's going to be hard to afford an early Gleipnir in this one.
It definitely feels like they're very much taking measured losses at this point in Aurora. We just saw a smoke be used by Aurora to clear an Ancient stack.
Yeah.
Like, so that way you wouldn't take extra damage on the Timbersaw. He could stay out on the map. All of those Ancients are now dead. It's, you know, obviously not being used to get a kill, but it's being used to generate net worth independent from that.
Yeah, and some experience as well here for the support duo, right? Because again, we need level 6 here. Try and get Q as well as Ollie into those ultimates.
And I think this was the other thing to consider. If we think back to that draft, there was a question on that 4th pick. Do we take Timber? Do we take Darkseer?
He's so close to hookshot.
They're really, really right there, but it's not going to quite be enough.
19 XP away.
They're coming to invade to try and steal it away. The stacks have already been taken, though. So at the very least, making the move to clear those first, and now they're going to try and block out those camps.
All right, they're under a ward here as well, as they will get 6 on the Clockwork. So XM knows that they're nearby.
How many of these losses can you take before you start to need to make some counter move of your own? It's only 1 kill to 1 kill, but the pressure around the map definitely being applied by XG.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see XXS up there. I mean, he's 0-0-0 on a Mars at 11 minutes. Like,
right.
He has just been chilling. Last hit's 85 for himself. He's super wealthy. Hasn't really felt pressured. Xinq's even been rotating around, heading towards that mid lane, but no pressure coming XXS's way. And now they're just going to go right into this tower. 23 Savage very low on mana. Can't come in for a commitment. Doesn't even have a whirlwind because he's been farming. They're not sending up with the support duo. This tower is going to vault.
So another tower going to be claimed by XG. Not fully extending out a lead. It's still sitting around that 3K mark, which obviously we've seen people come back from multiple times. And would not even be surprised if this was an anticipated loss given how they've been playing around it. But nonetheless, you got to imagine at some point they're going to make some type of move. Is DY?
Oh,
This is a
yeah.
lot of farm for Ame. Oh, man.
This is something you would love to interrupt as Aurora. This is kind of what they would be excellent at, right? Like this Spirits playing in here with ET. This is the dream, finding a giant fight like this. Hook shots in, but they're not ready. They don't have the vision for it. So this is just all going to go the way of XG. I mean, they are going back their own way to their own Ancients on the side of Aurora. So no contesting this. This is a ton of farm.
Right, this is a lot of gold. And Ame going straight for a Mjolnir. A build that I haven't seen in a while, but maybe a testament to how they feel this game is going to go. They're like, all right, if Aurora's not going to fight us, we don't need to get fighting items either. We can just make the moves. And instead, XG, they're going to take the fight to them a little bit, go to engage, but again, it's just a little bit late on this move. The stacks have already been taken. Jabs is an option, though. XXS He's just behind those trees right there. Does he realize where Jabs is at? Reveals him for the moment. Malefice down. Black hole on to 3, but there's no help nearby. TP's come help me, team. Team, please, I got them all. And there's the shackle shot. Connection out. DY in trouble. Sonic wave, but it's not quite enough to kill off Jabs. Can they look for more? Lorenov finding DY. They're going to kill the Tinker. Find the finish on to ZQ. Just barely getting out of there. The Chakram's not quite on the mark. And Aurora, they're going to back away.
Oh, great escape there from ZQ. Almost got 3, but Jabs, he didn't even know that he got a 3rd here on the black hole because of the blood sport. Guy can't see in the arena, and he catches 3.
That's crazy. Well, not often you see the 3-hero black hole at, what, 12, 13 minutes, and then nobody surround him to help. But it ended up working out for Aurora as the TPs came in. You know what's funny about that is that Jabs had to tell his team, hey, I got them all, guys. Come TP, because they couldn't see it.
Yeah, they got no idea what's going on here.
You can't see inside that arena. And so Malefice down, black hole, and then, guys, I got him.
Yeah, ZQ was mid going for the rebound there, so he doesn't have it in this play either, so he can't assist his team on the actual fight immediately after.
14-minute. XM stepping forward. There's a lot of heroes right there.
They want that Wisdom Rune, but Q's in.
And they managed to take it. Q with the Wisdom Rune. Hook shots to get out, not wanting to take this fight.
Does not have that facet.
That hook up facet, yeah.
Just to clear up. Just wants to escape and survive.
Well, still, XG with the slight gold lead in spite of the way that that fight went. Because this is the problem, right? Once Black Hole is down, you don't have that many great fighting spells.
That's true, but I think that actually went pretty well for Aurora. They were trying to really choke them out there by trying to get in there, get the 14-minute Wisdom Rune right, knowing that they can't fight, but Q able to sneak it away and then immediately hook shot. Like that's a lot of time where XG could have been farming up more stacks, and they do come in and obviously take a lot of this net worth away from Aurora, but I feel like XG just kind of swung for a big haymaker and only got him a little bit.
Trent, it is 15 minutes, and there is a carry with 1,100 HP in this game.
Listen, Ame, you know, he's an older player. He's a fan of the class. He doesn't even know what a Gleipnir is.
That's right.
And he just says, "What? I will shoot. I will do the damage. My teammates are supposed to control them. That's not my job."
I mean, he is very, very susceptible to getting blown up in this game if things go a little bit wrong. I'm reminded of that PA game that he had the other day.
No, we don't talk about that. They're looking good in this one.
It's a glass cannon build, that's for sure. If they can find Ame in these fights, he's going to be in trouble. But so far, he's either been able to stay out of them or buy some extra time for himself. Ame wanting to be that big damage dealer later, the uncrowned king. In the meantime, for the rest of the squad, it is slowly extending that lead for XG while Aurora try and build into these items that allow them to fight.
Yeah, you can see right there working on that pipe there from Jabs, and then the BKB probably going to be the most important one there for 23 Savage, and we'll see how these timings match up with a potential first Roche as well.
All right, will they be able to secure that and then really put the screws to them? In the meantime, XM going in, I think it was for a Shivas I saw, after finishing off the Dagon 1.
Yep. So, does have the Veil coming out.
It's a 5K gold lead.
They have some pretty good vision here for Aurora. Have an idea of where they're moving. XM going over their ward, so they're trying to set up a ping. Q has the hook shot. All these nearby. This looks pretty good.
Get him.
Misses it.
Not quite on the mark, and as soon as that's down, like the whole fight falls apart. Jabs TP'd in for that. He's got pipe drums right now, would love to be able to set up for a fight, but no chance to connect.
Oh, that's a painful one there for Q. Someone who's been so consistent on these support roles and has clutched out many a gank for this team over the year, not able to get that one.
Right. Well, and with, again, sort of the straight-up matchup here, you got to imagine that Aurora, they're seeing something in the draft, they're seeing something in how they anticipate this game going, where they're confident with it going later. They're very much willing to sort of look towards a late-game black hole as the answer. Obviously, the Wind Ranger can just be such a monster in that window as well. We'll see if they can get there.
Yeah. They're not panicking, right? It's not like Jabs is rushing like Blink BKB. He finished the drums, he finished the pipe. I think things are going to be okay. Our support duo is extremely good at defending towers, right? As long as no one gets picked off and it's too one-sided of a fight or anything,
right?
ET and Clockwork are really hard to push into. Especially, like, as you pointed out, when you have a carry with a pretty small HP pool.
Right. Yeah, Muerta always a little bit susceptible to that. But XG, they are going to make the move into the pit now. So the first Roche attempt of this series. And Aurora, they are smoked up.
He's
peeking
in. I mean, they have the ward here.
Okay. And realizing what's going on, it will be XG smoking up now in turn.
All right, we got that Blink Arena on XXS.
So Aurora willing to give up towers across the map, but not willing to give up this Aegis. As that ward,
He is wrapping.
Eidolon's killing sentries. This is going to reveal Xing's Q's position. Now seeing him with Q, don't want to start on that Marcy.
Yeah, he knows they can't hookshot him, right? Or this fight's not going to go well for Aurora, so Xing Q getting a good read on this one. He's also very tanky. Double bracer, has the crown, and waiting to chase you down with the Lance of Pursuit.
And XM is going to TP for the Illusion Rune. Okay, yeah, they're like, all right, well, you know what? Nobody's taking Roche then. We're just going to leave it alone. We'll just go back to farming.
Yeah, this is not Focus Fire Wind Ranger with single target abilities, so
Right.
it's a little faster, but it's not fast enough to try and take the Roche.
Well, an interesting moment there. And yeah, I guess that is the thing, is that really Ame on this Muerta is the only one that can really, truly sneak the Roche. Just with a Pierce the Veil, it does so much damage. The other heroes in this game not really capable of taking it out. And so you can see Ame sitting top of the chart, 11,000 net worth right now. And the main hero that's sort of catching up independent from the cores is that Tinker, as we were talking about. He's having a nice time, already with the Holy Locket in the mech.
Yeah, DY not the player you think of when you think of scaling and farming a bunch on a support, but knows he has to do it on this one.
Right, and almost like single target, I would imagine, just completely focused on keeping Ame alive in these engagements with that barrier and everything else that he can throw on him.
Yeah, it's maxed out here, so ready to go.
So 7,000 gold lead. Hits just keep on coming as Roche is going to go down south, but a smoke up now comes from Aurora. They've got the Clock and the Enigma together, Lorenov in mid. It feels like you got to do some like hook shot into Cog's back with Black Hole if you want to kill the Quap. Anybody else doesn't feel like, it feels like you're committing a lot to get the finish.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, 23 Savage does have the BKB, which means he can now build into that Gleipnir.
Okay.
That'll help you out a lot, but XM still almost done the Shivas, just about done, and then you imagine it'll be defensive item after. Something to make sure that he doesn't get chain stun down if they have any sort of a gap, or if he can just escape from the root. Would be the way to go here.
Or you can just go mass damage. Level up the Dagon, man.
Sure. Yeah, you got Tinker. Just put all the pressure on DY. He's going to lock it in a mech. He'll be fine.
Yeah, save me, buddy. Aurora, they're going to take down this tier 1 tower, and then they're going to hit into the pit.
This is pretty good. Down. Daytime, but XG making their way here as well.
Can they get here in time? They're starting to run this direction. Roche down to half HP already.
Sending out the Spirit, trying to find them. They see Ame.
XG Xing Q, he's the first one getting close, but you can't rebound off of enemies. They're just going to claim this, I think. They're getting there in time. Q looking at position,
the Cogs.
gets the Cogs pushback. And now, XG, do you really want to fight into this Aegis?
23 Savage?
He's just in here now, okay. Needs to be careful, pops the BKB and then the TP out. So understanding that was gonna go really badly, but Jabs, he's not so lucky, not able to get out of there. They're gonna find and kill that Enigma. So they lose the ET and they lose the Enigma in that fight, but claim the Aegis.
Yeah, they're able to take that away from XG. It was kind of looking like they were just gonna try and secure this Aegis and move on from there.
It just feels like every fight that goes on, like even when good things are happening for Aurora, I'm looking at this gold lead just go up and up and up for, actually, this is the Tinker effect, I guess.
Yeah, they're not going to get their Wisdom Rune, but they could pierce the Veil and just take their Tormentor if they want to.
Be an opportunity.
Don't even need to if they can just all run on up here. No Pierce the Veil required with a Mjolnir.
Lorenov sees it's being taken. Can he steal it away? Not quite. Tried to sneak it, but more of these objectives into the hand of XG.
Everyone's up, though.
Everybody's up. They didn't use that many spells.
Jabs is really close to the Blink Dagger, though. And he's not here for this if they start a fight.
I mean, this right now, XG is playing like they're the ones that have the Aegis. Dispose, make sure that Ame doesn't get a free hook shot on him. But that's the extent of it. They take the tier 2 tower, and they're still the ones that are playing forward. Aurora not willing to give them a full fight yet. They don't feel like they can win it, I guess.
Everything's coming together right now, though, right? Blink Dagger's going to be out here in a moment for Jabs. The Gleipnir is done for 23 Savage. They're going to have to smoke out, and they're just going to have to hit a hook shot. It's pretty much that simple. Q wants to get in there. He wants to be committed. He's got that Blade Mail.
They're so close to this Gleipnir, too, for 23 Savage. Just needs another 150 gold. The Blink Dagger is now done for Jabs. It's got to be go time right about here. Does not actually have it delivered yet, which would make the difference. But there is the completed Gleipnir. Can they get together and take the fight now? Currently, there's only 2 heroes up here.
They have good vision.
And Ame.
They're going to smoke up. All right.
Now moving. In towards mid they go. They find him. Xingqiu right at the start. Dispose, didn't hit the shackle, and now Control is out. They have enough to bring him down. 23 Savage living. Hook shot landed onto DY. Jabs on the side, finds Ame, but where is his help? He doesn't have any friends nearby. Ame gets slept for the moment. Well, the fight's going on down south. Lorenov can't get over to it. That was a full black hole, full sleep. Ame is still living, and now he has a regen rune, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. Aurora, they waited for their moment. They take the fight. Exactly what they needed, and can they find XXS2? Shackle, but the blink away. There's the TP out.
Yeah, no one else going to find him there. Hey, that isolation play by Jabs, right?
Yeah,
he knows he doesn't have the allies there, but 23 Savage got the initiation in the middle there onto Xingqiu, kind of messed up how they want to play that fight. DY falls quickly after, and even though there was no one helping to get the kill during the black hole, there was also no damage coming out, which they desperately needed from XG. I mean, 247.
Yeah.
That's pretty low.
I mean, I guess that's true. If you can just keep Muerta away and fight everybody else, you'll have a pretty good time.
Yeah, got hit by the Earth Splitter as well, too, so it was just immediately like backing away from Ame. There wasn't a really good opportunity to try and fight.
Well, like we said, Aurora, they were waiting for a moment when they felt like they could win a fight, and they did just do it. Can they replicate that again without an Aegis this time? We'll have to see. As it does look like, at least for now, XG gonna have to lick their wounds a little bit. That ward just barely not caught. And of course, it is gonna be that BKB coming out next for XM.
Yeah, gonna need it for the full commitments into these fights. Q also level 12 here on the Clockwork, so greatly increasing your potential there for the initiation. That's gonna help a lot. But XXS now have that bailout item of the Euls, either for the initiations or just trying to delay stuff in a team fight.
Oh yeah, much needed. And now 4 heroes getting together up top. Of course, they know no black hole, another 50 seconds. There's an opportunity here for XG to take more around the map. And Ame, I mean, he's still very, very squishy, up to, what, 2100 HP at this point, going next into an MKB. He is going to hit so hard if he's free to just go to town.
Yeah, you can see there the way that they're confidently stepping up because they have DY just mass spamming heals. He's just sitting in there with his Holy Locket ready to jump on him if necessary. And decided not to finish into the Greaves. Had them queued up for a while, but instead wants to get that Glimmer Cape.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of magic damage that Aurora can still pump out here.
Well, and the other thing is you've got to think about that natural order, too, from the ET.
Yep.
So often it has, like, the most effect in the fights, and you can barely even see it sometimes, it feels like. So needing that extra magic resist as another Tormentor. Going to get taken down, DY. Now getting that Warp Flare. More ways to try and interrupt things, and the full MKB done for Ame. How hard can he hit? As, again, Aurora taking the more passive approach at this phase in the game. They have Black Hole back up again. Don't feel the need to really put the pressure on. You need to wait, obviously, for that Roche fight, because if they use Black Hole now in the next 2 minutes and Roche is like an insta-spawn, they're in a pretty bad spot. That ward scouting out that smoke. And you can see immediately Aurora just run to the side of the map.
Yeah, they are scanning here. They're going to know that 23 Savage just moved through here. Oh, this is a big pick for them.
Oh, that can't happen.
BKB? Does he need to?
He's just running. Ollie. he's
They'll
the
give
one
him
that's
Ollie.
hot.
That's a big smoke. They only get the ET. That's fine. There's no Roche to immediately grab here. They can catch the wave mid and pressure that mid tower, though. And again, try and force some sort of a jump in from Aurora. And that looks like it's going to be the plan. They just set Ame up here, get defensive DY right next to him. And look at this tower go.
Another tier 2 tower taken.
They're just farming camps all over the map as Aurora. Just, no, we will not be baited into this. We'll fight you high ground. We'll fight you high ground. We'll fight you at the Roche pit. Those are the two places for us right now.
It feels like this is what the Aurora games come down to often. I feel like they very much are just like, you know, willing to take these measured losses and not really put themselves in a bad position. But it does mean that they sometimes feel like they're playing from behind a little bit.
Well, if there's anything they've learned over the past couple of years is that anything can happen in the late game.
Oh, yeah.
So certainly the C mentality of let's go late game and see what happens.
Is that no neutral? Oh, no, it's ceremonial rope that he gets. Okay. So opting for that one on the tier 3 Newts. 6-6. And waiting to see how long this Roche respawn is going to be.
Oh, a huge pickup, though. The farming after the Blade Mail. Q has the Aghanims. This is super important for map control.
Whoa,
just
really?
spamming out these flares constantly.
Wow. He was able to get a lot of farm on that clockwork.
Yeah, he's been busy.
And around a mid lane Roche respawn time, 1.5 minutes, as the BKB should be completed at that point by Ame, barring some type of crazy fight that happens. But Dual Scepter lift up now, pops the BKB, might just need to TP out of here.
Yeah.
23 Savage, okay, does get away.
Always going to be an option here until Xingqiu maybe gets a basher.
Right. Well, and even then, you got to deal with the win run.
That's true.
Need to get Abyssal Blade. I'm sure he's eyeing it up. But Jabs is queuing up now the BKB Black Hole. So we'll have that, again, unanswered threat at this point in time in the game. And they don't really have anything that will make it easier to deal with that as time goes on.
Well, smoking up, they're going to run into XXS.
Big jump if they can get him. No vision inside. Jabs pops all of that auras, but XXS down to a little bit lower than half HP. Now they missed the hook shot again. DY though, he's still taking a lot. XM runs into all of them. 23 Savage, no BKB means no life.
Nice bait, Ken Mars.
And 2 dead. An easy fight win there for XG.
Yeah, maybe trying to find something there on Aurora where they can get the blink into the black hole, but things did not start out the way they were hoping for. And now with only 10 seconds left here until the Roche is going to respawn, they're in an excellent position here on XG.
Trying to catch these waves and slow them down, but yeah, another unfortunate placement there on the hook shot, ends up missing, splitting the uprights, and now you have a little bit of a scary situation. Jabs does have that BKB ready, but now also has the dagger on him, so needs to wait for that to expire before he can run back in.
They just don't have the damage to kill them right now.
It's too hard to deal with.
Yeah.
You have buyback on the Wind Ranger, but you hate to use it here. This is going to be a full set of racks. Ame, he takes it so quickly. Dodging away from the Spirit will not get slept.
Oh, if they don't get racks here, this seems really good for Aurora. Because now they can at least fight the Roche.
Right, that's true.
Because they, in theory, probably could have just went immediately, but they might not have been sure that it was up yet. They don't have that same global vision that Aurora do with the ability of the flare, so would have been risky if you backed the first, but they hadn't even spawned, right? Oh, we don't have to put that stat up there, production. Come on.
I mean,
He's trying.
You got to call it how it is sometimes. It's an unfortunate situation, but it's how it goes. One of those was to get away, though, so he hit that one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And there's that vision as well from Aurora, now knowing that Roche is up, going to make their way down here. And Jabs. We talked about it. As the game started, the draft, the panel, they talked about it. The pressure on Jabs. Well, it's reached its pivotal moment.
Na defensive yan. Pag
It's
yan, di mo
Blink,
pa
it's
nakapitalize, ewan ko na
BKB. It's a Roche that they desperately need to either just deny right away, like by somehow winning the fight and make it kind of middling there versus XG, or outright take it themselves. But if this just goes the way of XG, and Ame gets to march down there with his Aegis in hand on this Muerta, it's looking like a pretty hard high ground defense.
You've got to put on a stop here. At a certain point, you got to say, this is how far you go and no further.
Some sneak. I like that sneaky ward there. That's good. From C right there from the high ground.
Line in the sand. Let's see if they can hold it, though. XM, he's the one that's up front and center with that defense matrix on. Lorenov can decide to run in if he wants. It's pretty scary into all of those heroes, but somebody kind of needs to get thrown forward so that way Jabs can follow up with the black hole.
It'd be nice if they had a smoke. That would be super helpful for Aurora, but I don't think they have any, unfortunately. Actually, you can see it queued up on Ollie. It's like, please come back and stock. 30 seconds till it restocks.
And, well, if they wait until that smoke comes in, the other thing to note right now is that Tinker's out pushing around the rest of the map. He's shoving out all the lanes while this is happening because he can come back in at a moment's notice. But
no, don't pick me support Tinker. Oh, no.
The scary part, though, is that if you do wait another 30 seconds for that smoke, Roche might start switching over to the other side, so they want to start it now.
Oh, this is good. They forced the BKB.
BKB from Lorenov 2 now. But with Arena down, that's the big spell used on the side of XG. That's been how they've been able to defend against this Wind Ranger. And now both teams buy the smoke immediately. DY, he gets his out a little bit quicker. Oh, they're going to be smoked up earlier because of the Tinker. The other one's flying out, and now Aurora already making the move to try and take down Roche. Are they going to be able to get it in time?
Oh, this is some risky positioning.
Roche made some moves. They already made the call. The two supports off to the side. XM finds him right at the start. Can they go for more? Misses the spear. And now, Lorenov stepping forward, still looking for their moment. Where's the black hole? It's a little ways away. Rooted, still great vision. Jabs, he gets it broken, and now he's found. He's going to die. Jabs, he gets the black hole, but he goes down. That's not what they needed. Hook shot off the mark. It's all falling apart for Aurora. This is not the way the fight was supposed to go. As Q is going to TP out, they are going to lose this Aegis, spear out, Lorenov down. XG, they reign supreme here in the pit.
Oh, what an initiation there from XG, making their way over along the tree line. You're trying to hide your two supports here, but there's the Shivas, right? Like, just jumps right in there, they get found, the fight breaks down from there. I got a clumped up Clockwork and Enigma. He can't hit anything on Q because everyone's in his way. He's trying to get the triple flares out. And then that break on the on the Blink, right, on Jazz, right when he was about to go, I think he lost it.
Oh, it's painful. That one hurts a lot, as you're going to see here, this replay, how it all went down. Oh, it hurts. That one's rough.
I mean, you at least get some of your spells off, so it's not the worst situation there. Like this DY, but they can't get this perfect setup for 20%. He comes in here with the BKB and the Whirlwind, but yeah, Ame stands tall and delivers the damage that they need on the side of XG. It's one way they play these fights, and they're getting it.
Unreal stuff coming out there. And I mean, XM and Ame in this game, the king and the queen, making it all happen. They are 23,000 gold up right now at 35 minutes, and it's felt like it has been all them all game.
Keeping it very simple here, just going for the racks and walking away, trying to be savage. Has the BKB, has the Whirlwind, but doesn't have a good opportunity to fight.
Ame, just an absolute monster in this game in terms of what he's capable of doing. If you get too close, he's buying his third damage item. This guy has a BKB, a Hurricane Pike, and then just 3 damage items. Will rip you to shreds. The Rocket Flare gets spammed. They do also now have a refresher on the Mars. But it is very good high ground defense. So I think with this round, are XG going to stick around? It's kind of feeling like they're not too afraid to. With the heal bots coming in, they have the calling. Ame down. XXS jumps forward, Giants Jabs. Ame is very low. Obviously still has that Aegis in hand, but 23 Savage going to run forward, trying to find DY, getting him low, getting him dead. Sonic Wave, they dodge that one. Q, he hits the hook shot. That's what they needed. Now pulling in XM. The silence is there. Refresher, BKB, round 2. Do they have enough to deal with it? They've already caught him. 23 Savage.
Oh, man. They made this fight happen, but the Black Hole's just coming back now in 3 seconds.
And they
Jabs
don't
just
have
sitting there
buyback.
waiting, smoked up.
They don't have buyback. He can't do it alone. Jabs has so much damage ready, has so much control ready, but don't quite have what they need. Maybe with like the big AoE hits if they can catch all of them, but it's not likely that that's going to happen. As the last set of racks is going to be claimed. XG, they have looked so strong throughout this game. As they head on forward, hit the tier 4 towers, still 40 seconds without a Wind Ranger. and they just cannot go in and fight this. They are about to have Clockwork back up again for potentially a final stand here to see if they can stop all of this bleeding, but XM ready to jump in. He finds him immediately onto jabs. No chance to get anything off of the jump forward. Xingqiu takes him down too. The hook shot's in, but it's not nearly enough. Ancient exposed. Ame still taking a lot of damage with that blade mail. But in the end, they're gonna take down the Clockwork. They're gonna head in onto the Ancient. They are gonna pop Glyph just to try and stay alive as long as they can on Aurora here. A buyback comes out. 23 Savage is actually back up again.
Oh, Ame's not done though. He's going back in with the sidekick.
Not willing to back out at all. The run forward here, they can taste the victory. If they can go in for the finish, only a few thousand extra HP. The jump in, 23 Savage is dead. GG is called. XG, they win game 1.
Now, we often talk about it as XM being the tower who gets to stand there and hit on his Vipers and Snipers, but it's the Sniper of the Muerta here. It might lose 4 times in a row, but not a 5th. Ame wanted it, he got it, and it gives them the W here for XG.
Very impressive performance from XG as we head on back to the panel, let them break down that action.
Thank you very much, Trent and Lyrical, here to break down game number 1 of this best of 3 elimination series. It is Extreme Gaming that take game 1 and left Aurora struggling. Lacoste, we talked a lot about Muerta, I feel like, for these past 2 weeks. And finally
It came out. Really happy about seeing this hero as a carry, as a counter to Wind Ranger as well, with the itemization and everything. The hero feels nice to play. The thing you need with Muerta is not to play against any counters, and you also want to have some kind of a setup. I think this whole draft kind of took the wrong turn for Aurora when they picked this ET, and also with the Timbersaw. I feel like they needed some extra lockdown, something that this Muerta is going to be afraid of, some Brewmaster, some Batrider that can keep her in place. And with the itemization, you could see that both Queen of Pain and Muerta, they were not afraid at all. They were building in these late BKBs, and we're going to see the Roche fight that kind of ended up pretty poorly for Aurora still.
And sorry, but this fight is so interesting because 23 runs back into the pit because he wanted to take the fight, but the rest of his team disengaged. So there was a big miscommunication here, which led into a BKB TP misplay. So when I was watching that back, that felt a little bit scary for Aurora, that at this stage of the tournament, they still haven't reached a consensus in shot calling.
Yeah, and before that, the entire early game was destroyed by Extreme because they utilized the Queen of Pain really nicely. They shut down the Timbersaw, going for 2 points in Dagger to pressure the 3-1-1 build from Lorinov, and on top of that, they bring the support by minute 8, minute 9, they're taking the mid-tier tower against Timber. And then when Enigma, like the whole concept of Aurora's draft was, Enigma plays behind Timber, take every single tier 1 tower, get a quick BKB on winner, Roshan, play the game. But the fact that they shut down the Timber, they prevented from Black Hole even feeling good, and then the point that Effie made as well with that Roshan. Like, I like the fact that Aurora tried to utilize Roshan as a comeback mechanism, but once they get the tier 1, once they take the Roshan, they just didn't fight that well to capitalize on it. And then the rest of the game was Extreme, very slowly, waiting for the items, waiting for their opportunity, until they fully broke down Aurora.
Yeah, that Quap pick worked out really beautifully. Like you guys mentioned, the supports coming mid-early, shutting down Timbersaw even more. But another thing that XG did based off of that mid lane dominance was they took over the Ancients and the triangle of Aurora very early on. And that's why after the laning stage, the network lead just kept building and building. It's because neither Timbersaw nor Enigma had access to their Ancients or their big camp. That was taken away from them for like the first 18 minutes of the game.
And when Extreme have this advantage, you can really see the impact of Tinker, right? Tinker in this game did 35,300 healing by himself. The entirety of Aurora did 125. So you can see just kind of the mismatch in the fights, just how sustainable Extreme are. And with the layering of the Mars Arena, with the Psychic of the Marcy, the heals of the Tinker, you can keep heroes like Muerta or Quap alive in these fights.
The reason why I also like the whole setup from Extreme Gaming is this is not a 4 protect 1 strategy that we sometimes see with some of these carries where like you have solo Wind Ranger, some mid laner that doesn't deal as much damage, but now you had Queen of Pain, and this Queen of Pain had a pretty free game. Also, when you play with Muerta, you need somebody to set things up for you. So there's XXS Mars going in. He died only once. All 3 cores combined died only 2 times on side of Extreme Gaming, which tells a big story how this game was played. And I also want to point out that Ame, his positioning was top tier. did die once, but there was this like one gank after that. Sure, you have Tinker with his shield, with the Glimmer Cape, with all his items behind, with the marches, so it makes it easier, but he was never pretty much black hole beside that one solo black hole where the rest of the Aurora, they were unable to connect on Ame.
Yeah.
And Extreme Gaming have such a good read of the game on when to farm and when to fight, because after they lost that fight mid where Muerta got black hold, there was an Aegis, didn't go that great for them, they just chilled. We didn't see them making any moves for 5 minutes. They farmed up a BKB on Queen of Pain, they farmed up a BKB on Muerta, and a Refresher Orb on Mars, and they took the game.
And 100% kill participation on XM's Queen of Pain. First time they pulled this Queen of Pain out for XM. Delivered T.
Probably not the last time.
Probably not the last,
No.
but also we were talking about the values of like first pick, second pick in the draft, and how 24 pick isn't the the craziest thing anymore. We've seen Tundra utilize Night Stalker now. We see Extreme utilize Queen of Pain. Like there are some picks still available that teams aren't really respecting that much, or at least they've forgotten. Like we're so many days deep into the Rosington International that some heroes are like, whatever, they don't exist anymore because we're in the tournament, and then you bring them back and yeah, you close out a game quite quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's that a lot of teams lack confidence to bring out a new hero or a hero they haven't practiced much on 24. And that is the difference between the series we just saw, BB Team versus Falcons, and this one. They will play whatever they need to on that last pick. And DY on his Tinker, like you mentioned, Chiefs, 35k hero healing. But not just that, the synergy of having Tinker and Mars in a lineup, pretty awesome, because Tinker takes care of the auras, takes care of tanking your team up, which enables Mars to just have different itemization. It enables him to go Blink, Eul's, Refresher instead of the standard aura recipe that offliners are doing.
Now, I do wonder, a game like this, we said there was a lot of pressure going to be on Jabs, on his Enigma. Why couldn't they force out more fights, Lacoste? Because I felt like this was a fairly slow game, which favored Extreme extremely. And I just don't know why Aurora couldn't find more fights.
He had Jinkyu, he had XXS and XM on his ass throughout the whole game, pretty much. They were jumping him. He was unable to land a good black hole. There was like one black hole when they jumped him near the tower. He was a quick reaction from him using that Malefice, but other than that, he got shut down.
I mean, who's he meant to play with? When Lorinov has no mid tower, no game to play, you can't expect an Enigma by himself to walk to the tier 1 towers to make these map progression moves that you often see. So because of Lorinov having a bad mid lane, Jabs can't have a game, and then your Windrunner, again, very greedy carry. So it's why the game felt so slow, because Extreme, they identified, wait, Aurora can't do anything. They only have to farm to try and get back into this game. So it's why it kind of lasted so long, but next time, Lorinov has to get out of laning phase with some type of advantage if this is going to go to game 3.
And maybe also a little bit of a different support duo that might be able to make more rotations, because I normally think Clockwork, you play around as Hook, you can make moves.
The two supports are identical, like Clock and ET. They want someone else to start the fight for them to reinitiate and turn it around, and then the other support needs to do damage. But with ET and Clock, unless you have levels, yay, I keep you alive for like 5 seconds, and then you're dead.
And that also just goes back to the Queen of Pain last pick. It wasn't just a gotcha for the Timber slot, but it got the two supports as well. If ET and Clock were to play on the mid lane and play to help Lorinov, who was in a bad position, they couldn't have done anything because they're just countered by Blink. ET starts punching, Clock blinks away. She gets stuck in power cogs, she blinks away. So it was like truly a perfect Queen of Pain pick.
So how are we going to prepare for game number 2 that's coming our way? Because it kind of feels like both, this first game feels like both an outplay and an outdraft. Is that fair to say? It kind of felt like we saw Aurora being a little bit outclassed.
I would happily say this is an outdraft, because I think Aurora, entering TI, you see all this information, and you decide to go with one of the weaker openings of Windrunner. Like, teams have kind of moved away from this hero being like the foundation of your draft, and then utilizing it as a third, fourth pick down the line. And Aurora themselves, they did first pick Windrunner on day 1 and lost with it. It's like, you've had all this time to prep. I'm surprised you've gone for like your losing strategy as your welcome to the main stage. So I hope they have cooked up some other ideas. I want to see more flair from 23 Savage. Like, allow him to see more information. Give me the Morphling on a later pick, the Void, anything else.
Yeah, if we look at the matches that they played, the second game where they were playing against Heroic on the brink of elimination, pretty much they needed to shift things around, and this is where they had different bans in the first stage, and also the draft that they ended up with, they cooked it pretty hard with this Tusk, with this Shadow Demon, left it in the pool, Spectre, plus also Darkseer to have that damage, something to play off with these early tempo heroes. A little surprised again that they didn't pick up Darkseer in the second phase. They had the opportunity to do so. It got banned in the last phase, so they need to shift things around because what they had in this first game was a clear out draft.
But it's going to be going, I would imagine it's going to be swapped in terms of priorities, and we've been saying a lot other than I feel like these last two games that we've watched where the overall last pick is actually very impactful and very strong. Normally, it is the first pick that has the highest strength because of all the heroes that are at the moment ban-worthy, and therefore getting one of the strongest heroes straight out of that first banning phase. Normally, it's first pick that has a little bit of the upper hand, which was just now Aurora.
Yes, but I think you need to respect that first pick. You have to set up your draft with strong hero picks, i.e. not Windrunner. And then every time you pick another hero, you're protecting from the enemy being able to fully counterpick you, counterplay you with the last pick. And that's where like having Clock and ET as your support duo, and all the pressure on Timber to have a good lane for your draft to even to enter the game, it's too scripted, it's too obvious. I think teams that utilize first pick well are the ones that keep their draft like robust to kind of any opposition. Like they can play any matchup, they can play 20 minutes in kind of any world. So right now they're being a little bit too volatile from first pick, hence why they get punished by Queen of Pain.
Too scripted.
Yes.
So you want something very unscripted. You know what is always unscripted? Slacks and Tsunami.
That's right, Sheever. We are not
Well, that's yan.
scripted. Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sheebs, for that fantastic intro.
Hindi,
We are
yung,
here in
yung
the
kasama
crowd
ni Slacks
tsunami. How
pag
we
TI.
doing?
I'm loving it because, as you can see, we've had a theme going on for this TI.
That's right.
We've got a
ibang
carnival of
Valve
people
games na
joining
nag-ano.
us. Most of them are on the stage,
Oh.
but I think we need a few more additions to the Dota Freak Show that we are privy to right now.
Just call all the pro players in the arena freaks? That's not cool.
It's a term of endearment. They're
Oh.
freakishly good at
Casey,
Dota.
Ah, okay, well, let's find some people that are just freakishly freaks in the audience, ladies and gentlemen. We have some prizes here. Now, I am here for you to rat on your friends, okay?
Yes.
I want to go through the crowd. We're going to have the audience judge which one of you has the weirdest Dota habit. So
I'm looking for
you-
some anomalies out here.
anomalies, in fact.
Who's out here like building boots of travel on every single game? Or you spam the same hero no matter what the draft is?
Yes.
Or you bemoan the death of techies and just kind of wither away?
That's a fun little joke there.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't play Dota and works Dota events?
I'm not familiar.
Hey, I'm just kidding. I love you, Sully. You do this all the time. All right. Does anyone here have a friend in the audience with a weird habit? Hello? You raised your hand?
Lahat ng boots,
Well, I
pre, lahat
think we
ng
have
boots.
prizes. Okay, okay. I'm
Kaya
gonna
ang ganda
grab
naman, no?
you.
Kay Dada.
Sir,
Yung jacket.
is this your friend here? Where's your friend?
My friend is back home.
Your friend's back home? You get surprised. You gotta be here with. All right, just a tester. What's your friend do?
So my friend, when he farms wolves, he kills small ones first.
I love that.
Every single time.
And we rush
I think it's kind of normal. I know. A crowd is killing a small wolves weird. Did we got a no? That's you're weird, man. Don't judge your friend. Goodness gracious. Let's try and get over here. Are you guys friends?
But I have a friend. He's watching at home.
Again, gentlemen, please. The rules are very simple. What does your friend do?
Whenever he's winning and then he gets ganked, he takes his monitor and punches it.
How are you?
Is it?
For real? How many monitors has this guy gone through?
He's destroyed like 5 now.
Oh, that's just anger issues, guys. I'm not sure that's a. All right, crowd, is that weird? Can we hear applause? Okay. That's mild weirdness. I mean, who hasn't punched a monitor and broken their hands? Me, because I'm not a psychopath. Did you find somebody, Tsunami?
I did. Slacks,
Okay.
turn around. I had to climb my way up into the rafters, actually. I'm waving, keep looking, keep spinning. In the corner.
Corner?
How much, you really think I covered that much distance in like 10 seconds, brother?
Where are you?
Turn around.
Oh, there you are.
There
Hi.
you go. You're pointing right at me.
Hi,
Because
buddy.
I had 2 people flag me down as they both have something that they would like to share because I've got 2 new candidates to the Freak Show.
Hello.
So, we have already... Join me, Slacks.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm here too now.
Okay,
Go ahead.
great, because you've got to give some prizes. Gentlemen, introduce yourself. What's your name?
My name is Mike.
And what is your Dota quirk that you are famous for?
So, me and my brother here, John, we both play using WASD to move the map.
Now, there's a lot of, you know...
Get that weeb out of my shot!
There's a lot of tension in the audience. But let the record show that I believe that at one point Matumba Man used to use WASD.
Yeah.
So there is a precedent for really good players doing it. Now, you're saying, oh my God, you really think that validates you?
I was just gonna say, you just validated me in front of all of my friends.
What do you think, audience? I heard a little bit of ooze. How freaky are these guys?
We punch shot.
I'm gonna give you some punch hats. You guys all-
Pudge hats, because I don't know how you're hitting hooks with WASD, but you know.
Guy with the anime characters in the back, you're definitely weird. Yeah. Thank you very much. And we'll just throw these double meepos at it. Does this guy do anything weird in his Dota games?
I don't know.
You don't know. Do you do anything weird?
Each boot goes on a different inventory slot. Is that weird?
That's pretty weird.
That works for me. Take it. All right, you better wear those meepo hats. We have unfortunately run out of time in this epic piece. Thank you all so much for watching.
Ano yung WASD? Hindi ko na masasabi na pakinggan.
Goodbye!
Yung paggalaw ng camera niya.
Thank you very much, Slacks and Tsunami. Tiga, what's your worst Dota habit, you'd reckon?
Oh, you're starting with me?
Yeah.
Voice lining enemies, supports who don't help their cause when they die, and then pinging facets, but that got removed from the game. So doing anything possible to help me win my MMR, it's very important. MMR is everything. It's not just a number.
She said weird, not toxic to you.
Yes.
I mean, it's weirdly. I guess, yeah, true. I'm a support player. I don't do it. I just buy
He's
wards.
saying he's
Simple.
very normal.
Yeah.
I know. My weird quirk in Dota is legacy keys. I believe that legacy keys makes you worse as a player. You as well?
No!
Oh God,
I'm old school.
Every time a new hero comes out and I look at the legacy keys, I'm like, God, why did I do that? You know, and then some heroes have really bad legacy keys that you have to go across the keyboard. Like Weaver, Geminate attack is K. You want to auto-cast it, Alt-K, your like fingers flying. Not great, Cheever.
Not great, but I would imagine you are not alone in doing that, as we are also gonna see the players walk out in a little bit and not be alone anymore on that grand stage. The question is, will Aurora force out a third game to this best-of-3 series? Just a reminder that we are in the lower bracket. Both of these squads have secured top 8 at this international, and they want to move further. They want to move to tomorrow, where top 6 is what they will get. One game up now for Extreme Gaming, so the onus is on Aurora Gaming, and the onus is making Aurora step it up in terms of tempo, I think, Lacoste. We want to see them being able to make the plays.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you kept talking during the walk-ins until they closed the door, because we don't want to say they are not going to be able to do it, you know, because they're still on the stage. That was very nice of you. But a difficult one. They haven't made a single serious win so far in 2024, and it shows. Like
Against,
really
you should mention against Extreme. They have one series.
They
just not
have some
against
serious
Extreme
wins in
Gaming.
2024. Otherwise, they would not be here. But overall, I think they need to step it up with the draft, and they need to be able to punch back. Also, seen quite a lot of like these smaller mistakes when it comes down to rotations. They've been stacking a lot, something that they did throughout the whole road to TI, but it has not been working because Extreme Gaming, they also stepped it up in terms of stacking game. They were the second worst team at stacking, and I've seen quite a lot of stacks, especially when you have Muerta on the team. That's what you want to have.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier that in the previous game, it wasn't just Extreme Gaming stacking, it was also them, T-Gov, making sure that Aurora couldn't.
Yeah, again, it's like for Aurora, when you look at a draft and you can see a key piece or two being everything for them to get to the mid game, pro teams are just going to exploit that, delete that hero, and now you can't really get to play your game. So I think, at least for this upcoming draft, I want Aurora to kind of hold their draft a little bit closer to them. Like, don't really reveal stuff.
Ayan ba yung nose job
until
po?
the final pick or two. Don't make it so, like I said earlier, like it's relatively scripted. I don't want to be so predictable. And support you needs to be one damage dealer,
Gago to si
one
Gami.
initiator.
At least
That
it's
can
not
roam
a
the map
nose
together,
job.
help the mid lane,
I know.
invade the stacks like you're mentioning. But if they do what they did in the last game, then it is going to be a very difficult game where they need it to go 45 minutes plus to be competitive.
Or you at least need to see side lanes correctly to draft a duo of supports like that, because the ET clock can work on paper if they're countering things on side lanes. Like let's say you're countering a primal in one lane and then the ET is just paired with a ranged carry in one. That makes sense, but they picked the ET clock with only seeing Tinker and Muerta. And having this idea that both of our supports can counter Tinker, but neither of them are very great against Muerta, we'll just correct that later. That can't work against a team like XG.
Let's see then what Aurora brings to the table in game number 2, and if they can force out a third game to this series. It is time for game 2.
Aurora Gaming versus Extreme Gaming. Game 2.
It will be Aurora this time round, playing from Radiant, and Extreme Gaming playing from the Dire side, with Extreme getting that first pick. Aurora overall last pick. We'll see what kind of strategic advantage they'll try to get with that one. In terms of bans coming out in that first phase, we are still having the sniper in the pool, which I feel like I still have to mention, T, because XM is our resident sniper player.
Bold entry to a draft, but I think from first pick, Extreme will most likely second phase it at the very end, the fourth final pick of the second phase. So maybe it isn't banned due to that. And if Aurora really, really cares about it, they'll then use their single ban in the second phase to take it out. But for now, it does get to survive the first round of bans.
It does. We got an Omni Knight, Shadow Demon, Naga, Sand King, Tinker, and Tusk banned so far. So with that, the Tinker being banned, it means that we got a couple more making it through, like the Mirana and the Centaur as well. Those were both banned in the previous game, and we'll see which one, if either of the two, Extreme wants to ban going into this second game. They have, of course, the opportunity to pick up anything they want. And they're taking into their bonus time pretty heavily. I think that's quite unusual. Lacoste, both teams have a decent amount of time going into game 2. You get 15 minutes, game end to game start, to think about it. And that means normally the entire ban sequence, this is something you can prep, you can think about. But they do use a large chunk of their time to end up banning out the Elder Titan, which is, of course, a comfort pick for Ollie on the side of Aurora. And they pick up Mirana, who we know can be flexed on the side of Extreme Gaming.
Mirana, I don't think they played it like in any other roles other than position 4, because when we were talking about the series, when they played against Team Spirit, they also picked up Mirana. Yatoro, he was the one who liked to play this hero, especially when paired up with some of these stronger position 5s, but they do play it exclusively from the position 4, where Jin-Q tends to have like multiple different itemization with no boots, solar drums type of a build, or he builds like a triple bracer into Shard, into Hurricane Pike, becomes another core. We've seen in the previous series what Mirana can do, especially if she steals a Divine Rapier from the enemies.
Yeah, and the tricky thing for Aurora is that they're the second pick team and they give away Mirana, which means that they only have one ban in the next phase. And when you give away Mirana, you're opening up your draft to ranged carries like Muerta, like Wind Ranger, like Luna. But in this case, one of them is going to be through because you just don't have enough bans to cover for the way people have been playing Mirana, which is just buffing up one carry with all of the damage and playing off of that.
And a lot of bans towards the melee heroes, right? You've got Tusk taken away by Aurora, you've got the ET and the Omni Knight from Extreme. So the big position 5s that you might expect to be picked up at the moment, they're not there. People have kind of lost a little bit of faith in Treant. Maybe it was overrated in the first couple of days of the Road to International, but at the moment it's there, an instant pick of the Storm Spirit.
That's a early Storm. And they do, as said, only have one ban to protect this Storm.
Boba would be proud.
And just take out the puck then you're just going to have to take the L and whichever ranged carry comes out for XG. What?
I'm saying Sniper. We've seen this matchup. He destroyed the mid matchup against the Storm Spirit. There's also Monkey King. There are a couple of these bad matchups that Storm doesn't like to play into early on, especially if there's another rotation. And Mirana is one of the easiest heroes to rotate to the mid lane.
Yeah, no. When you pick Storm in the first phase, that single ban, and it's against Extreme, if it's not Sniper, then...
Yeah, but then you're going to be up against the puck.
Yeah, but there's also Puck. That's the scary thing, is that they have been running Puck on XG very often too.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think if I had to pick between the two, when I see XM and what he did to the Sniper before, or the Storm before, unless they pick two really aggressive supports and just keep ganking mid, it's just a lot of respect you need to give towards XM.
And that's only talking about XM's hero pool. But now we have to think about the carry hero pool for Ame. Like we mentioned, all heavily enabled by Solar Flare on Mirana. Luna, who has been was the trending carry of the playoffs of Road to TI, she could make a here too.
Yeah, it ends up being Kunkka and Wind Ranger being removed from the pool by Extreme, so
Yung
Luna
nakikita ko
is
na wala
still
masyado
in,
nakikitang
and we'll
very
see
rare
which
na
one
nakita ko ng
Aurora
mga
wants to remove,
melee
whether that
heroes
is
na
the Puck or the Sniper. I think
Sa meta
actually
ngayon,
maybe
Luna,
you're just going to
Jurassic.
accept that your
Meta
lane's
kasi
going to be
yung
hard
Blade niya.
and ban out Luna instead, but maybe they want to pick it up.
Even
It is
Nature's
up to them
Prophet
to
pa may
pick straight
nagpili
out
ng
of this
safe
banning
lane or
phase.
mid.
Oh.
And they ban out XM's
DK, kaso
signature
nangiinom range yun.
Viper, leaving
Oh.
the other two signatures in the pool. That might tell us a little bit more about
late
what
na
they're
carriers
planning
yung
on
meta
picking
ngayon.
here, Lacoste.
Oh, this is a rough one. I mean, they open up with the Storm Spirit.
Oh, yeah,
There's a
same
lot
one.
of heroes still available in the pool that can easily counter the hero, so they need to find a way how to use the
PK.
Storm Spirit. We've seen
Mga
BB team
hindi man lang nakita ng
use Keeper of the Light with the Storm Spirit 2
Si
times,
Naga
and it
kaso
was
puro
very
palaging
successful.
ban eh.
So
Oo,
he needs
kasi
something.
support eh.
This hero is going to need
Support kasi
any
Naga.
kind of a help, maybe some kind of a save that could come out so that he doesn't die straight away.
Ooh,
That's a little bit of a save.
yeah. It's a little bit of an unusual one as well.
Yeah, they haven't played Bane so far at the Road to the International or the International, and I'm skeptical a little bit. Bane is another one of those heroes where you used to win lanes a lot. Nowadays, you don't really win lanes as
Like
much
mid?
because the offlane +4 can just bully you out if they play in tandem.
Puta
And
na.
if the map
Tilted.
gets difficult where they run at you a lot, then all you really have is a nightmare to your name.
And you're just very slow on moving around.
G to IG.
Only a comfortable twin gate support rotation if there's
Inisip ko
a
Aster, wala na
follow-up spell
palang
that he's
Aster.
setting up for like a
Ooh.
Mars Spear on the Nightmare,
pick.
if there's something like an Invoker with Sunstrikes, but you already see the Storm pick.
With this Bane pickup, they didn't reveal anything, and they're also keeping a little bit of a flex open in terms of their carry pool, so they did not want to, hardly commit with the position 5 melee hero. Then you would not be able to pick some of these melee
GG
heroes.
daw.
The Spectre that they
Yan eh,
the
Sniper.
Sniper is gonna come out.
Baka nga XM yan eh, ga.
Baka nga din XM, di ba? O kaya si Sinkyo, gago.
With you kind of conceding
Rush
the
ag
lane,
ng Centaur
plus potentially a sniper
Sniper.
as a lane, or
Sniper.
Sniper will
Malakas si
be
XM din
Centaur
mag-snipe.
lane.
Ginulpi niya Spirit.
If you pick up a Snapfire or
Oo,
Sniper
kita
or
ko yun.
Snapfire
Game
or-
2 ata.
I think it does the same thing in regards to draft as what you're mentioning, of course, but the Bane,
Sino din?
again, we'll see how they do it, but they need to play into the map, keep finding
Sa
angles,
Aurora?
and that's why Centaur Sniper is also so scary. Bane can never get to the Sniper.
I think Jabs needs his Mars in this
Oh.
game.
Baka si Lauren off yan, ga.
Soren up ka.
Forcing
Sa ubo. Sabi nila ubo.
Yan. Yan
Yan si Echiran, gago.
Something like this to keep him in place.
Na-stress na
The
Echiran
Spectre,
ga.
the jump,
Na-stress na
hero
Echiran
that
ga.
you mentioned that could potentially come out.
And I wanted to say, when we saw Aurora with
Lambot?
the Road
Lambot
last
ng
time,
Aurora?
going against Heroic
Pro
in a
Dota,
best of 3, and they
nag-age
were
ng 10
one
years,
game
eh.
down in that best of 3 series, and when it
Si
really
Papi lang
they
di nagbago, no?
then pulled out.
Kumoki, nakalpo eh.
It was the first Spectre that we'd seen in its entirety, and it worked out. They were willing, Effie, to take the risk.
Aiden, and that's the kind of confidence you need in elimination games, like we mentioned. And 23 looked really good on that Spectre. It's also going to enable them to have a hero to always
Si ano,
the sniper
ano ba yun? Si
later on in the
Crystalis,
game.
gago.
The issue is,
Gago.
he was mentioning how
Kasi
when
bigay kamay.
conceded their shift,
Kasi Queen din medyo, di ba?
Oo, Megamind din yun. Payat kasi si Queen. Pero hindi nagbago yung tsura kasi ni Queen. Si Crystals kasi laki ng bago.
can haunt on and come back to the game from, because it's looking like a low net worth safe lane
Ay.
from Aurora so far.
Yeah, and with Extreme, triple bracer plus Blader with Centaur, you can pretty much accept any gank onto you from Aurora. You'll buy so
Hindi,
many
nagamit.
people to come onto you.
Yung ano, Heroic, kalaban nila. Ay, yung Aurora. Yung Heroic.
Ay, yung XD.
Oo, yung XD.
That is your late game secured.
Gago to si 23 eh.
Local map play from Aurora
Oh,
coming out.
in rush talk
Bane
kasi.
and Willow will want to find
Gago dito si Coco eh. Yung preview ng Aurora versus Extreme. Puta yung mukha ni 23 Savage sa ML si Renny J. Puta kasi sa ilong.
about it. until Spectre gets Blade Mail plus Radiance or Blade Mail Orchid or any of this, they don't really find anything. Hence why the Void pick isn't really too much of a
XM
threat.
Sniper na
There's
yun.
any towers,
Naku,
there's no tower damage.
pinag-void nyo pa si Aki.
It's a little bit awkward. Again, I am really worried for Aurora. There's
Yung sa bagay kasi meta ngayon long range eh, kaya pinagbababan nila. Oh.
pretty much once again.
Also, there's a Silver Edge Spire in Faceless Void, so you can break the Spectre later on in the game and kill her quickly, which also explains the Viper ban over the Sniper or the Puck that we talked about. They wanted to protect the Spectre from Viper too, not just the Storm.
Early game, lugi si Senol, si Storm.
In terms of control, they do have Bane, they do have Storm Jump, Dark Willow with the Terrorized Brambles. These are the things that Faceless Void doesn't like to play into. So now we're looking into position 5 that it's going to lane with Faceless Void. They did remove DY's Phoenix, which is one of his better heroes. So some of the stronger position 5s that are range still left in the pool, I would say it could be a really good Jakiro game because you have Ice Pad against Bane, so you can stop his grip, you have damage inside a Chronosphere. You want to pair him up with something that's going to secure Faceless Void pretty much a lane and entry to the game where he's not being the lowest net worth core.
We saw position 5 Marana twice today. They also have the option to just play
That's
5
also a
and
flex.
pick a Snapfire and lane that with the Centaur because that
Yes.
hero is also still in the pool.
Let's see, only a couple of seconds left into
araw
their
po yung
bonus
Tondo eh.
time.
Oo nga
DY has ultimately
Tsaka
the
GG.
last call on the
Yun yung
side of
ano ko eh.
Aurora. It
Hinihintay
looks
ko eh.
like once again
Kaso
we
mamaya
need a
pa.
hero for Jabs. So once again, there will be a lot of pressure on his performance
Beastmaster,
in
pwede
this
rin.
upcoming game.
OP na Beastmaster
and
ngayon.
Enigma now removed from the pool.
Huwag na.
Mars just feels really good.
What are they going
Ang
to
ina,
do?
ba't delay yung sa'yo? Kanina pa na-pick yan ah.
Sa YouTube kami.
YouTube
YouTube
ata.
kami.
Up a little bit, you know you got some cheap fight.
Ganyan din ako kanina, pre, sorry.
There's a damage early on for Aurora. Now you're going to have to kill a hero who's
Mataas
getting
resolution
nila
sa
ako.
YouTube.
right click them with Spectre or Storm. There's a decrep.
Research lang naiisip ko eh.
Draft immensely, and
Pwede din Viper. Sa
Storm's gonna
malambot
have a
sa
bad
per
lane.
ano eh.
Ban niya si
Ang
Viper.
Viper.
Bane, Willow,
Ay, nakaban na ba si
should
Viper?
try and pick
Oo
up
nga no.
Centaur
Yeah, yun lang,
with their
Visage.
awesomeness, with the Pugna behind.
Wala
Mars.
siyang stun.
Again, Jabs, you're
Kaya nga
lost
Oh,
pick here.
Research Mars.
Lahi ka ng puta.
Tekan.
His last
Kan?
Are there any arguments against
First
First pick
Mars.
of
Mars
the
at this point?
tournament.
Lack of damage once again. Like you're just
Lang yan, pinakastan mo na lang yung ano yun?
every
Fear.
time Aurora take a fight.
Wolf.
Hindi, yung yung rooted. Anong tawag dun, ano? Wait,
Who's killing? I've haunted, but no
Rumbles?
one's killing. Like everything.
Rumbles, yun lang.
I think the Doom
Kaso
is
sabit lang
an
din.
option where you're
Eh!
shutting down Faceless Void. The
Eh,
Doom
may
is
ano
still
sila.
available, even though I would prefer Mars.
Eh no, si ano.
Okay, they're cooking.
Sure. They needed something. which
Gago,
is-
wala nang album, nag-Dota na lang.
They lack so much purpose with
Gago,
this
panot
lineup
na yung
at the
likod,
moment, where
Nakikita namin yan after
Wait. After mga 2 minutes. Wait lang ah.
liking into Centaur, into the
Okay, no.
Blade, even a sniper. Like they're gonna stampede away from
Sige natin.
You got
Okay.
as well.
Oh, ano?
Disengage.
Puta, ilagay.
Una na
If you
yung
have
black
a
hole
opponent,
eh.
you should die to them.
Gago.
Fair play to pick and Lycan, but
Spectre in their heroic series, and it worked out for them then. So they
Ang
have
ina
been
to si
cooking.
Evie, sarap
FPD
talaga
like
na
what
itong
they're
balibag sa pader eh.
No. Sorry, I was just thinking. So
Yagi si Koi ba nagagawa niyan sa'yo, gago?
game is the lane versus Void will go well. Like he will
Yung
farm
stray,
on that
ano.
lane and
Liquid
you
yun, di ba,
bring
dati?
Lauren
Oo.
off with this idea that Lauren off
Yung
doesn't
ano nila,
have
yung
the
emotional
power,
face
let's give
nila
him some
dati
leeway,
kasama
he
si
doesn't
Taiga.
get completely demolished by XM on Sniper.
Oh.
If he can rotate to the Lycan lane, they can kick Void out really early, take control of the map.
Ah,
and
yung
all of a-
ano,
all of a sudden,
yung
their
may
Spectre
ano.
has a game to
Ah,
play,
okay.
heroes to jump on. But if they can't do that, if they can't get that Stifling Tower with this Lycan pre-minute 10, I'm not sure what their entry into the game is. I don't see it outside of that.
Yeah, I'm not liking this last pick. Them having Pugna and Marana, this was the last pick overall. Usually what you want to do with Lycan as a hero is to kill the supports. When you have these supports who don't have any means to deal with your right clicks. So now you have the
Nababalibag
Riptide,
kaya
you
ni
have
OD
leaps,
Pixel
you're
to si
buying your
Shiba.
early shard on Marana, so you have 3 leap charges.
Kailan ba yan?
You have
Matangkad sa
Time
kanya,
Walk
di ba?
as well. I don't think
Mag-shota ba sila?
supports are gonna suffer at all.
Oo.
Well, we're gonna
Si OD
find
yung
out
nagsama
if
kay
Aurora can push this to a
Fever
third and
nung ano.
deciding game, or if Extreme is
Treatment
gonna
niya.
take this one to
Si OD yung
Before
nagpagaling
we
sa
head to the
susunod
game,
yan eh,
though,
Shiba.
We're gonna look on stage to Tsunami, who's there
Nalagaan.
on the map.
Gago, sabi niya,
Thank you
parang
very
Ah,
tuklaw
much.
lang yan ang
I'm joined
ahas,
by
sisip-sipin ko lang.
Extreme's Coach Maxler. a lot of people talk about first
Inigot
time
yung ano.
TI.
Parang Venom lang yan,
But
pre.
you're a first-time TI
Pipin lang
player.
natin,
Now,
nagmawala.
tell me how the experience has been for you. Has it been exciting or has it been scary?
Gago, ganun yun,
很多
pre.
人的关注点其实都在于选手第一次打比赛，但是你作为教练，首次参加 TI，你的过程感觉是什么样？是不
Gago, one for
是
the team
会
yun.
更兴奋呢，或者会感到害怕？
就还行吧，然后
Hinatanga-tapa
没有
yan.
很多的情绪吧，就做好自己
Parang
的
nga
事
nga.
情。
It's alright, not too much emotions. I'll just do what I do best.
I see your players have taught you well to keep the ice in the veins. And how about when it comes to picks? I know Ame requested Muerta, but how about things like XM Sniper?
Yun yung sininagay eh,
Do you ask for it,
classic eh.
Or do you like giving it to him because you know he's so good at it?
Oh.
其实我们想问的是，
Ano yan?
选手有时候会要求一些英雄，比如说
Tama.
阿妹他会要求奶绿，那 XM 的火枪是觉得他很厉害，就直接帮他选呢，还是他要求的呢？
奶绿
Kababayan
火
naman
枪差不多都是他们的绝活吧。然后
Ay, gago.
那对面放的话，那就选嘛，
Living
就跟他的
dangerously
优位
to.
一样。
Muerta and snipers are both of their specialties, so if the enemy team doesn't ban it, we'll pick it.
You guys are comfortable in the game, and clearly you're comfortable on the stage.
Oh.
Maps, best of luck in this game number 2 as we pass it to our casters.
Thank you so much, Tsunami. Always great to hear in Royal Arena. How y'all feeling today for game
Ginaol
2?
yung clip.
That is right. Hoping to see a game 3. Hoping to see if we can get all the way to the end. Trent,
Oh, yan, gago.
why is there a Lycan in this game? What's going on?
I don't know, the panel, you heard it.
Iba yung
was
emotional
liking it.
support word.
That last pick, it gave them
Hindi,
pause.
hanggang level 6 yan, pre.
It's,
May
there's
active
good reason
skill
behind
yan.
it. You saw the ban on the Beastmaster. I think
Oh.
that
Ano
what
active
they
yan?
really needed here, like
100%
Miro was saying,
evasion, tsaka
on
root.
the panel, just
Yung
we
wolf.
have to take this tower, we have to
Oh.
go the map, right? So there's heroes that were left like
Micro
there's the
heavy eh.
Visage, maybe you could try and do
Oh,
it that
pre,
way,
pag
but
nagpupush yan,
it's gonna be the Lycan,
100%
someone who
evade
has
mo
not
yung
been
ano.
tested yet in this
Yung
tournament.
Torre. Tas
Right?
yung isa
Try
naman.
and take over this lane, and if they can't
Wawa
do
yung
that,
support
if they
dyan eh.
can't create the space for the Spectre,
Oh,
it
gago.
does indeed look like it'll be a bad time. But Aurora, I like it. I like
Wala
that they're
silang-
going for
walang
this big
stance
pick,
yung
the
Aurora eh.
boldness there. See if it works out.
Well, and you know what's
Ano
funny is
lang.
we were talking all of this stuff about the off lane.
Rumble,
We
Vortex,
begin to see the little purple man, the Darkseer. We
Kawawa
kind of
si
have
ano
like
dyan,
the
si
super
Pugna tsaka
surge
si
Ion Shell
Sniper sa
later
Wolf.
if you can get to the Aghanim
Oh.
Scepter potentially. You know, maybe
You
some,
can turn any hero into Darkseer. That's quite the talent.
it's pretty cool. It'd be fun. You know,
Pwede
just get
naman
the
din
wolf
mag-build
bite
ng
on the Spectre.
nullifier
It's a very,
si
very
Spec
scary
kung
ghost
maabot
lady.
siya sa late
If
game.
they can get to that territory. Now, the
Masagot kay
problem
Pugs.
is, and what I'm a little bit worried about, is that XM
Yun ang
might have a
mapapanot
pretty
lalo
good
to eh.
time in this game. The
Pinerspick
you know,
yung
map
Storm
set,
eh.
specialty, if it's a good game for it, we're gonna pick it.
Yeah,
Hindi pa naman na
And
mataas
they
price pool
definitely did
ngayon.
that.
Kung
Yes,
mataas
he has
price pool,
already
tapos
shown some
nanalo yan,
obliteration
tangina. May
tactics
buhok
on
na
the
yan.
Sniper in this mid lane.
Oh,
They
gago.
banned the
Parang
Viper
si
instead,
Thompson
open
na
up
yan.
the game for the Spectres, don't want to have to deal with that break.
Nagpa-skin
Point,
clear yun eh,
Savage
no?
would actually have
Oh,
a chance in this one.
Gago,
But
guwapings
that
bigla
means you're
eh.
picking your poison. And
Yung,
he's
baka
a
nagano
very
siya,
scary
no, yung
sniper. So.
operation.
Well, and the other thing that, you know,
Hindi naman,
we've
yung
sort
mga
of
laser
seen
laser.
Mga ano
there.
lang siguro.
Don't worry, nobody saw. It's
Pero
okay.
mali.
It's
Tanggal ano
fine.
lang,
Don't do it, Royal Arena.
Oh.
One
Eh,
thing that
tawa
we
pa din
have
ako kay
seen as
Gabi.
an answer
At least it's not a
recently
nose
has
job.
been this, like lack of vision and then not being able to find it. XM
Kaya
on the ghillie
nasasapak.
suit means that if he's in that stance, he's
Nasapak
not
ng
going to
sariling
get
teammate niya.
revealed as he's right-clicking
Gago.
heroes, which means that Lornav might not be able to find
Clash
an
of the
opening
year daw
onto
yun
it,
eh.
might not be able to kill him.
Yeah, that's your big hope as a
Dominated lang
versatile
daw.
sniper. But these
Ay.
core snipers, you know, they don't need that tricky shrapnel.
Gilip ba pinili ni
Scatter
XM?
shot for them.
Oh, gilid.
So we'll keep our eyes on that
Ayun,
matchup,
Gilly.
how that
Kala
one
ko
works
isa eh.
out. So far, 9-5 versus
Shrapnel,
9-2.
tagal ng
It's
shrapnel.
looking okay. The question is,
Half
as
second
those
lang
levels
yung
get up, will you
shrapnel
still
pag
be
na-
able to maintain that? And of course,
pass it.
what happens at level 6 and what happens with these support
Pero sure kill yun eh
rotations?
sa early game.
Very different
Oo, sakit
support
nun.
lineup for Aurora in this game. Definitely want to get more
Tatlong
active.
ganun, tas
Oh
blood,
god,
blood grenade.
23 Savage
Bye-bye.
gotta run away there.
Yeah, melee hero in the lane versus Centaur.
Nga
Not a
lang,
great
early game
time.
lang siya.
Panel discussing how this looked like a pretty free lane if you're XG, and you certainly can't disagree too much with that one, right? Like even potential rotations then for XinQ if he wants to, can make his way
Walang ring of protection.
even like through the twin gate
Matapang.
because like there's a lot of room to maneuver here, and you kind of know you can leave the Centaur alone
Oh.
as he's gonna jump in and
Yes,
steal that Lotus with the innate there on the Maranas. You always love getting that from your team.
That's very annoying to deal with. Did have the Nightmare ready, but Ollie not opting to use it at that point. And you
Ano
can
meron
see
kay
after
Mirana
the
ngayon? Ba't
initial
nag-carry?
2 waves, what's
Solar
happened in
flare.
mid has indicated in
Lalo
those
pag
last
kalaban mo
couple
good
of
mother
eyes.
eh.
Now
Ang star core yan.
17-10
Isa.
versus 11-4.
Ang dumi na yung bababas.
Can't even
Yung ult
step
niya
up
buff
to the
na.
wave.
Tama
This
ba?
is the pain
Sa
that
ano
you
yun?
feel
Sa shard
in
yun?
this matchup
Yung
and what
ano?
can go so wrong.
Yung
See
star
if
pool
you
na
can deal with
marami.
it. We'll have that wave pushing
Ano
into
pa
him
yung
at least
facet
pretty
niya na
soon
isa
here.
na
As
ano?
DY is
Sa
getting bullied
buong
around.
team.
Q back behind the tower here.
Jabs are just running through his
Gagawin
warriors.
ano
They
yung attack
just
speed
chase him
buff
with these
ata yun?
wolves.
Now, what was he doing? He was way
Solar
under
flare
there.
nga. Ay, gago,
And
nire-rape
instead,
na
he's
yung Pog
gonna
na.
end up losing his career
This hero's
because
too
of it.
fast. He's too much.
Why is
Oh,
DY
God.
able to get
Nice
out of
dodge.
Oh, the fancy footwork. He's so fast. You can't stop him. The Wolves trying to get around, and that's
Okay.
finally going to be there for the body block. But no, he gets around the other side. Oh my God, DY is just, he's trying to get his steps in right now. He's on the little treadmill, and he makes it away in time.
It's just too much. I mean, we're talking about this Lycan, but another hero that we don't see too much anymore, this Pugna here, can be helping out with the early damage there on the Nether Blast, and of course, later on in the game, the life drain saves. Always something you have to keep an eye on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, XM still standing as Storm has been sent off to the jungle and not gotten another CS
Lugi nga.
since we saw him. Still sitting
Lugi
right
yan.
there at about 17 now.
Pag di pa
And
level
it
sa
is
Lugi.
interesting because when you see
Kaya
that,
kailangan mo din ng
and
follow-up pag
23
nag-level
Savage, more hits, Nightmare to
Oh.
get a little bit of
Ay.
separation that keeps him alive. When we saw the Faceless Void, we were thinking
Putang
about all
ina.
these like lane
Sabi ko, bumawi
punishers,
yung Pog, no?
and Lycan does feel to be sort of putting the
Tangin.
pressure on a little bit at the very least, but not able to keep him completely out of contention.
Yeah, if they're able to maybe get that kill into DY and then try and pressure further on Ame, that might have worked out here. They're trying again, and this time he feels like he's not
Is
getting
from
out.
ni XM.
Oh yeah, DY found and
Yeah, patay.
Jabs, much like last game, drawing that first blood. Will throw one last hit there onto Ame, who will then time walk and take it off of him. And Lorenov even being denied his jungle right now.
Oh, wala
as
siyang third
XM
skill.
wraps around and gonna force Lorenov all the way into a bad situation.
Yeah, just trying to give him absolutely nothing here in this one.
Does manage to get that last hit at the very least. But yeah, he knows how to put the hurt on him. And again, like there's only one place that you go as a Storm Spirit, off into that jungle there. 23 Savage
Labang
takes
na labang
another
yung
double edge to
sniper.
the face.
Gago, tignan mo
31
naman yung deny.
And then
Oh,
gonna
God.
Kaya nga eh.
Game mo, eh.
DY now making
31
the
na
move in too.
Pinerspick ba naman yung
Q will
Storm eh?
go for a bottle refill, much needed. And not able to get in time
Pati
to stack up.
nag-ilusot pa yung gamit.
Those
Saka magaling
agents.
din nga si
Yeah,
ano.
trying to leave some
kung
vision
si XM
behind, but I
mag-sniper.
think it was spotted by Q, who's going to bring out a sentry, I believe. Yeah, so he saw what DY was up to. They want to try and contest in there, because you know the Storm's going to wind up there, right? They're going to try and get some stacks going. He's going to try and farm.
Yan na, gago. Kakantutin na
Want to
ng
ensure
mga
that they're
logo.
ready to rotate over there, especially when you have the
Yeah, yeah,
Stampede
low
and you have
lane
these quick jumps
Wala,
down
low
from
lane
Ame
pa
there
eh.
with the Chronosphere.
Oo, mamaya.
Absolutely. And
Jabs here with the Alpha Wolves
Good.
facet as well. The way that it
Oo,
works now,
agad.
like
Bilis
you
ng
go-
blood sa
that's really cool,
Putang ina,
right? But it
level
takes a
5.
little while longer to like
Level flat, level 5 may blood sugat.
get all the way up there.
Gago,
But then they do
ginitna
get
niya lang
very
yung
scary.
banks niya eh.
Yeah,
Dati
these wolves
one-sided
become
yung mga
menaces.
naggaganyan eh.
I think the thing that like you're talking about, I'm a little worried about at this stage is I'm just seeing these CS totals
May
and
minutes
si
na
Boy
na.
tayo.
Short
it's
dive.
feeling similar to what happened last game where XG
Kahit
started
si
off with
Boy
a good start.
tayo
Oh,
dyan
but
sa
look at
mga
this,
lobos.
Ollie making the move over, and XXS is not going to be able to keep him
Nakaw.
back. Although if there's two heroes in the area now, he can't do it. So yeah,
Galawang
bringing two
kawatan.
ensures that Aurora not able to steal that Wisdom Rune.
Wala.
Yeah, honestly, that
Di
feels
pa
kind of
walag.
good though, right? 23 Savage just gets to sit on the wave and actually farm as the Spectre for a little
Honestly, yeah.
bit. Two heroes having to go back for the Wisdom Rune. And
And
he doesn't die. I mean, how many
Balik
supports
ng
have been in
neutral.
that situation? In fact, he's going to
Nakabalik
TP
ng
up
central.
top and try and make a play here.
Yung stack.
Yeah, where can I look for this? You're close to level 6 on spec too. Not close enough to
Why?
make a move with this Bane most likely. But Q coming in with Ollie. DY is back behind the tower to help keep people alive with the decrep. There's not really an easy go here. I'm not sure if this is going to end up working out. Now Ami
DY.
has 6 too.
Yeah, he plants that ward back there, but doesn't actually see Q or Ollie right now.
Going for it, no. And the creep wave, these moves, they're just not working for Aurora here.
Naku po.
It's a painful one. And grouping up like this is probably going to reduce their XP again here. Might be some
What?
late sixes as Zinq comes mid. Still holding the arrow right now.
An unluck. It's down on the bottom side where there's an Invis rune.
Yeah, that means the Wolves can't deny it either, so Zinq just going to take it. Chucks out an arrow during the fade time.
All right, Spectre has 6. It feels like they need to make a move at some point here for Aurora. Obviously, a good option might be to look towards the sniper. But of course, with that Stampede at the ready on XXS, there's double global help that could come in. XM still sitting pretty, punching and plinking away at that tower. Movement in from the 2 supports.
Yeah, Xinq's close.
Thinking about it, wanting to jump, tries to find him. The pole is going to be there, but the arrow is already out. And there's the Spectre moving in. Finding a kill here would be huge, and but he gets rooted for the moment. That keeps him away. Ame's still off to the side as Ali will get brought down by the ulti from XM. The Wolves on XM can't finish him off.
No, he jumped back as well on 23 Savage. Just didn't like the look of it there with the root coming out, and that means they're going to lose that mid tower here. Already a hard game for Lornov, the lowest farmed core in the game, and now has lost his tier 1 tower.
I mean, and you can imagine how that fight would look a lot better if there wasn't that Centaur that had the Stampede up and online. 23 Savage moves in. He has this urn done. Would love to get a first charge on that, but it just doesn't look like it's going to end up happening that easily. That being said, Shadow Step will be up before Stampede will.
That's true. I mean, XXS has just had a phenomenal 2 games here, especially in the laning stage in both of these. First the Mars and now onto the Centaur. He just has not been bothered at all. And they finally get a kill as I curse him.
This is a hard kill to get. This guy is very tanky, but dropping lower and lower and with no help. An arrow finally finishes him off. Rather catches on the Bane, but that's going to be an earn charge for 23 Savage.
Has their Shadow Step just to ensure they actually get it. And luckily the kill also going to Lornov. I think they're pretty happy about that. You know, 23 Savage, he's going to be busy. He'll be farming it up, but they need some help here.
If there is one upside to the Spectre pick nowadays, it's how quickly you can decide to go again, just because of that low cooldown on the Shadow Step.
Yeah, but you also are playing with quite a few cooldowns as well, right? Like Jabs, you're worrying about the shapeshift there too, so you kind of have to coordinate a lot of these longer ultimates. 120 seconds on the Fiend's Grip even. It's mostly Bedlam and Shadow Step that are always ready to go. And of course, no longer able to pass that over.
Gago yung Fear sa ano, sa Fear.
That would be really nice as a way to do it, but we'll need to get in there a little bit closer to make the moves work on Willow, but
just the confidence here on XXS. Just, yeah, he killed me once, but again, nice setup.
The Nightmare will keep 23 Savage alive, but that is still dangerous. And now with the Renoff moving in with the haste and how much damage can they do? Ollie turn, but the sniper there, they have to call off the charge, I think. Renoff, as a matter of fact, might be in some further trouble. 23 Savage, he jumps away, but DY, he's already on them. They bring in Ame too. Take down the Spectre. If you're not careful, you could die also. So Aurora try and make the jump on the XXS, and that time they won't be successful.
We're talking about these ideas of Aurora trying to knock down the tier 1 tower and try and slow this game down, but then a Faceless Void is just jumping through the Twin Gate and grabbing a kill here. Comes right back up top. Jabs does have the shapeshift back now. Has the Vlads. But still,
Nullifier
4 points here in these Wolves.
And also still underneath a ward, understanding exactly what could go wrong there. As Ame has the Mask of Madness done, going next towards that Maelstrom. All 3 cores right now of XG having a very good game with a 4,000 gold lead. Aurora, they have the tools to take fights. It's just a matter of will it come together perfectly, and can they find the right targets to go on too?
They've got level 6 on the Dark Willow. They're not going aggressive. There we go.
On to XM, ready to go. Shadow Step at the ready. 23 Savage jumps forward. There's the Terrorize.
Hey, time zone
Got him for the moment, but guess what? It's not doing all that much. It kills off the Storm, but Ame, now he's in too far, but he gets the jump away. Ame tries to back out. A couple more hits. Will he have another time walk up? He will. And that stops any extra aggression on to the Faceless Void. And yes, that was not a misclick. That was not anything else. That was a time zone.
Yeah, that is the anti-Storm Spirit technology right there. Just gives them a really bad time and a lot of damage to you and your allies. There's nothing you can do as a Storm there. You are leashed inside, so you're just kind of locked in place there for Lornov.
May solar player pa sila, gago.
Upside to that is later on there's some pretty good items to deal with it that Lycan is already a decent of the way towards, which is the Boots of Bearing.
Yep.
Which does allow you to just walk out of it pretty quickly. The question is, will it end up doing enough for them? As we get close to that 14-minute mark, next round of Wisdom Runes. Can see Lycan, the main one that's having a good game right now, queuing up the Nullifier next.
I mean, you can see why, right? They just had this opportunity where maybe they could go for a quick kill into XM, but then the Decrep comes out from the Pugna, and they just can't keep the aggression going there from Lornoff. So need somebody to help them out. And you can't have Jabs constantly struggling to kill people because they just keep getting decrept over and over again, and then maybe you invest into some Ghost Scepters there too to just double it up. So it's kind of an expensive item to go for right away, especially when it's just like you're also building a Radiance at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So it's a painful build up here from the side of Aurora.
Ame's nearby, but they're just going to take the kill onto DY, who will eventually go down. Was able to burn through a lot of Lorenov's HP there. And he's kind of that Orchid too. So yeah, Wisdom's about to spawn, and 14-minute rune. It's going to be up top the regen. So again, bit unlucky for the Storm.
Nice.
Yeah, those will be denied by Jabs.
Overall, though, the lead not really getting too out of control so far here for XG. They do have the Blink Dagger here, now finished up on the Centaur, so they could, in theory, get a little bit aggressive, but there's not really a big need for it right now. Right?
Well,
you might as well just wait for the Glype here on XM.
And the other thing is that it feels like this game, as opposed to last game,
they're jumping
actually have ways to jump in and do exactly this. Like XM takes a lot of damage, the Decrep, and actually forcing out the Stampede will keep him alive. But these little pokes and prods, it's pretty annoying for XG to deal with.
Yeah, it doesn't mean Jabs doesn't have his wolves with him, though, you know? Like,
That's
he's trying
true.
to set this stuff up here, and he can't farm quite as fast. Just going to be slowing down that next item here.
Is farming out some of the lanes with them while this happens. But yeah, when they're out scouting and trying to find kills, not really much of an opportunity for that one. Smoke up now by the two supports. And with a Spectre in the game, it makes these kill-oriented heroes very capable of, you know, finding a bring down. You can see DY is just right next to Ame that entire time.
Yeah, I thought maybe they were setting up for an IO draft or something when they opened with this earlier Bane, but this kind of shows why, right? This idea of just smoking up and setting up for global mobility, that's always been a classic part of the Bane tactics. Seeing if you can get a Fiend's Grip into a Shadow Step play. And, you know, they were close. Like, Ame had been here pretty recently. Now he's under the ward.
This is really big if they can get this one in time. Underneath the ward, they have the Fiend's Grip ready. Ollie gonna walk forward.
There's so many allies here too, though.
Oh, it's really dangerous, but if they can connect here, it would be really good for them. They move forward immediately.
Nice.
Now they jump in with 23 Savage, and that's the kill that they needed.
They're still smoked up here. On the side of XG, do they get a return kill? That's the question. XXS has this blink. Will he find him in the trees?
Off to the side, gets him right away. Arrow comes out. Is it enough time, though? No. Lorenovf, he gets out. Now can they go for a second salvo? Ollie runs into everybody brazenly, and Jabs jumped upon right away. Lorenovf comes in for the follow-up. Aurora fighting forward now after they take down that Faceless Void. They're going to take 3 more.
They're fighting for their lives here on the TI stage. They take down that potential time field. They don't have the opportunity to assist. Xingqiu does die to a neutral, so that's one less kill for them. But overall, something they just needed this on Aurora right now, right? Like after that game 1, being down here, they need that big pick onto Ame into the quick team fight after, especially after that jump onto Lornoff, but they didn't have the damage to finish him off in the tree line there because XM was too far back and getting delayed.
Well, and it's all of their heroes kind of coming together at the right moment, it feels like also. These are fighting-oriented heroes that Aurora have. After so many towers being given up in the last game, it felt like, as you said, this is something that was needed, and now partway to that nullifier being completed, you got to look towards XG and say, well, what's going to be our answer to this? You got a time zone Faceless Void. It's always scary.
We'll see if Aurora can actually knock the tower of their own at some point in this game. That would also be quite good. Savage is getting pretty aggressive up top here. They have tons of vision ahead of the Spectre right now. Just so many wards here from Ollie trying to take over this top half of the map.
Oh, gosh.
Right. Down bottom is where XG is very much stuck together, situated, not wanting anybody else to get caught off guard. As XM will move towards the mid, Dark Willow starts to head this direction, smoked with the Storm. XXS not a great target to go on, and as Bane will join up with them, it's a smoke instead coming from Extreme.
Jabs has that nullifier coming here. Just as this fight's about to break out, an Amplify damage rune in the river. Oh, Lornoff. Oh, he goes for it.
Time zone, but he gets out. He got out of there. They're leashed up on the 2 supports. They're going to fall. Well, Lorenov able to escape. Now, do they want to go in? Wait a minute, Nullifier,
It's
and the
nullifier.
Wolves eat up DY. Jabs, that's kind of a cool little play. You nullify, and then you just send your Wolves in to kill.
Yeah, then there's no more help.
I like that.
All right, so right now on Aurora, you do lose your supports, but what you can say now is we go again, right? You have this Orchid on the Storm. You have, what, 25 seconds until the next Shadow Step, as it's only got the 50-second cooldown now. They've got to be looking to get aggressive once more, and that's where his vision comes into play on the top half of the map. Maybe XM heads in towards this jungle part and starts smoking this way.
Right, if he goes just a little bit forward, I mean, they already see him with the creeps there. DY coming over.
Oh, he's too quick.
Yeah.
Or is he? Oh,
no, he just drops
He's
one.
thinking, oh, wait, no, yeah, now he's going to get it.
But off to the side instead. They find and kill Xingqiu. And now looking for Ame. No, not going to go for him. Shadow Step on cooldown for 40 more seconds. So Q would love to go in right here to find somebody, but you need more help than just, well, yourself, I guess. since they don't even have the Spectre to come in.
I mean, they still have this pressure down bottom here with the Storm Spirit. It's only 19.5 minutes, though, so we're a little bit away from that Wisdom Rune.
Right.
It's one of those times where maybe
Pagod magpataba nito ni Lorenov.
there's too much to do on this map these days.
Nolly drops down. A Sentry Ward will pick up a neutral item.
BKB solved na yan. Tags.
And could think about a Roche sometime soon.
Oh, we do finally have Jabs going for, as you mentioned, the Boots of Bearing. Super helpful versus the time field. Time zone.
There it is. It's time zone, Trent.
Time zone.
It's like the pain zone. Is that a thing? That's not a thing. DY in trouble in the pain zone.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
the
going to fall. And they end up bringing him down, but XXS jumps in. He gets the stun onto two. He wants to find him. Can he get any extra hits onto these guys? With the retaliate damage being too intense, they can't make the move. Man, these Wolves are so annoying to deal with. They're going to need to get a gem at some point.
Early game, they're absolutely terrifying there. They just do a ridiculous amount of damage. They've got the control there too. I guess in case you haven't seen Alpha Wolves, you get the hamstring, which is the part where they have the next 4 attacks from units controlled by Lycan and deal bonus damage. So you just get to like burst people down. That one's pretty handy.
Do require a decent amount of micro nowadays as well. Really annoying to play with, but they, you know, Jab's definitely somebody that's been known for his micro in the past.
Yeah, and even though you have the sniper, you also get the evasion at level 6, so that can also be annoying with the high tail ability that they get. But yeah, as you said, a little micro intensive.
So Wisdom's picking up by the couple of cores and into double Tormentor. One of them heads on over the Bane's way. Xingqiu don't die. Okay, he lives. DY gets the other one. And still just 3,000 gold separating these two squads.
Ollie can look to close that gap a little bit there with his shard, of course, you know?
True.
Can actually push waves a little bit on the Bane once you have the shard for the AoE Brain Sap.
Couple big items right now, though. That's the full Crimson Guard for the Centaur, and then also a Radiance completed now on the spec.
Yep, this is an item that now also scales on strength, so feels really good for a Centaur.
The double bearing pa yung Aurora.
Radiance, obviously.
Oh, sorry, health.
Classic.
Sorry, not strength anymore. It is health. Let me clarify. But Centaur has a lot of health.
He has a lot of
because he has a lot of strength.
He's a big boy. 22 minutes in. And the Wolves scouting out a few things. They see the region. That one gets denied by XM. Now run the Wolves forward. Gonna root them.
Oh.
Dude, look at how strong these things are. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, it's really annoying because it also just like breaks your formations. Like, you have this idea of like where you're trying to go at certain times, and you got your farm patterns and everything, and suddenly this wolf's just biting you. So like, run back to your tower. You have to feel safe because you know the Shadow Step's coming. Especially when he does stuff like this.
Yeah.
And just jumps on you with it.
He just jumps in, drops down the dagger, hits DY a couple of times, and then gets out.
Doesn't want you to feel any sense of safety here on this side of the map.
I mean, killing DY feels like it's going to be a little bit of a hobby for them this game.
This too. We got ourselves a Spectre TPing into the outpost. They are coming right down for this Roche. By the side of XG, they've already smoked up. They have the Solar Flare available. It's still just level 1 though. They don't have 12 yet on the Mirana.
I mean, you need to be careful here. The time zone in this area does get very scary, but they have the Boots of Variance. They can get out of it if they need to.
And Ame's got that Mjolnir again. He's got all damage.
Got to be careful about this. Roche is going to fall, though, before they get here. And now an opportunity for XG to still take the fight if they feel so inclined. Arrow goes out, not going to connect. Jump forward, stomp. Lorenov backs away.
Still holding Stampede. Doesn't want to drop it. They don't know if they're fighting yet.
Go.
The hamstring.
Hamstring. 23 Savage. Now Blade Mail jumps away. And unlike the last game, this time Aurora get the Aegis and they get out. Just as long as Ollie stays in the trees. Just stay over that way, buddy.
What a great use of the root there on the hamstring. Just keeping that Faceless Void back. They don't really want to commit. They want to hold that Stampede just in case the fight goes a little bit awkward, or so they can get that perfect jump in there for Ame, but they just don't see it fast enough on the Roche there. Aurora, much better macro plays in this game, kind of getting the full state of the map, getting that big vision because of this Lycan, and just constantly really just annoying XG. Like the way they're using these Shadow Steps on the supports just to try and bully them around a little bit, always make them feel uncomfortable going to the fight. And now you have 23 Savage, of course, with the Radiance, and now having the Iron Talon to just farm his way around the map.
I will say that this feels like a Jabs hero. When I think of Jabs, I think of like Nature's Prophet, you know, running in, blocking camps, being annoying, and as you say, these wolves constantly scouting things out, you know, harassing supports. It fits his play style quite well. It's a smoke up now from the two supports, and they're actually going to Stampede now. Not sure what that one was about, but nonetheless, Stampede down.
I am also not sure what just happened there.
Maybe a misclick. Regardless, this game feeling a lot better for Aurora. They get a Vlad's now on the Mirana. But with Boots of Bearing done and eyes towards Amanta, you know, this sort of somewhat greedy hero Spectre feels like it's gotten through the most difficult part of the game for her. See if they have the tools to close this one out, because right now, things feeling pretty good for them.
I would love to get aggressive right now if I was Aurora too, right? Like try and get a smoke up or something going. No, there's no Stampede.
Right.
Problem is they don't have any vision. They've been very diligent about the D wards all over the dire side of the map because of these wolves. Right? They're spamming sentries everywhere. They want to know where they're moving. You're always going to have these ob sentry combos drop down by XG so they can see where the wolves are moving to kind of get an idea of what maybe they're planning on the side of Aurora. Ollie just confident enough to stand right here by this ob sentry though.
Naban ba si Morph?
BKB done for the Storm.
Parang mas bagay
Maybe
Morph
that's what
ni
they're waiting for here,
23
in
dito
combination with his Aegis, they want to get into this fight.
Hindi ko maalala na sa ban list.
Wala.
Still the time zone.
Yeah, I mean, that is
Tangina,
sort of
sure,
the
walang tagal
elephant
ng
in the
game
room
pag
right
may
now. When you think
Spectre.
about Chronosphere, you just catch and kill these people, not having that
Well,
option as much, but the root is there, the silence is out. Do they want to go for more? Ame up on the high ground. Time zone comes out and they walk out of it. And they're looking okay. They do lose Ollie, but now leashed up for the moment is Loreno. He's still fine. 23 Savage does go down. So they burn through the Aegis. Both supports gone. No Ton, no Terrorize to counterplay this. And in fact, 23 Savage is going to die. So with no supports nearby, they can't get him out. All right, maybe we were making fun of it too soon. It looked pretty good.
Time zone's good. I mean, it's still similar problems, right? Where like they tried to counterplay by just leaving it, and they just took a bunch of damage in the meantime.
True.
Yeah, and there's your only damage, unfortunately, is a
Mga
Spectre
may
who's
gold
just
sa
dishing the
icon.
ball back.
Take a look at this again.
Skin
I'm
ba
not
yun?
sure if the Boots of Baron just couldn't come
No,
out.
sure.
Or
No,
not.
they did come out. They just used it to run immediately, I believe.
Yeah.
Ayun sila Lycan.
Ame found the perfect moment there.
Baka pag
and,
may
yeah,
streak
up on the
ata.
high ground, just the
Yes.
sniper beat him to death.
Strict sa
Goodness.
prediction.
The strict
He
sa
just get
skills.
completely isolated by his team.
Ah.
Everyone else was like, hey, I'm out of the time
Baka
zone.
bounty.
But unfortunately, 23 Savage is
Oo
on
nga,
the
no,
wrong
si
side.
Shinky
Right,
tsaka si
no one
Ame
else is
meron.
over there. He just dies once, dies twice. And you don't have any of your tools coming out from that support duo,
Pero
unfortunately.
si Ame,
Well, Jabs looks to be eyeing up the AC next. So a little bit of help for his teammates. Defiant Shell playing
yung kills
for
niya.
Faceless Void.
6-0 si Jabs.
And Ollie was kind of hunting DY, manages to get out of trouble.
And they've got this issue where if they don't just get a raw grip onto someone, it's kind of just all in on Lornov, right? He's just like jump for this fight and try and get the pull in. How else do you actually start an engagement here? How can you lock people down?
They don't really have that great of avenues to do it, for sure. Gonna need more items to help solve that problem.
Lornov playing it kind of tight here at the 28-minute mark. Don't know if he really wants to go for this. Would be kind of risky. And they are all here just daring someone to try and get this Wisdom Rune.
Yeah, they'll kill the Wolf, too. They send those in. A decent amount of them killed throughout the course of this game. A lot of sentries getting dropped. And eyes towards the blink next for Q. After the Yule Scepter. More ways to try and sort of play around these fights and get in the action when the time comes. Because that is the thing, right? If Sniper is just free to hit away, in a way, part of what made that last fight feel so weird was that it was 23 that went in first. And if you can kind of wait and then, you know, wait for the fight to progress and then jump Sniper, things probably feel a lot better. But Kars getting wards down or something else
Yun
there.
yung normal eh. Tapos binap, tapos ninerf
And
ulit.
also having some tools
Binalik
versus
sa
the
normal.
disarm as well there.
Oh,
Yung ginagamit mo kasi ini-spam mo daw kasi.
That should allow P7 to keep the attack up. That sniper.
Yung ba may umiikot sa kanya?
Well,
pwede,
go forward.
binoff yun eh. Pwedeng i-target sa
Starting to
kakampi.
drop.
Kaya sarili na lang ulit.
Long time. Don't manage
Eh no, tangin ng evasion yan eh.
Getting
Nakakabur.
closer to it, and the smoke will not bear fruit. It looks like. Yeah, all the wolf talents.
Very talented wolves.
And at least for now, not going into the wolf bite either for the Lycan.
Na-detect eh, may willow spammer daw sa
We'll see.
Pilipinas.
Maybe at some point the Agnes will come out here.
I mean, this is an annoying split push to deal with. And again, for XG, it feels like they
Yung
want
shard
to play
din
much
ni
more
Lycan,
group
ganun pa din
together,
yung may mga wolf.
which
Oh,
does
kada
hurt
lane.
this style.
Pero yung
a lot
wolf
more.
din,
Pero walang
Ability
skill.
damage.
walang skill.
It's just been
Hindi
working
na
away.
control yung, hindi na control yung shard niyan eh.
And now
Tangin na may
Shivas
evade kada wave.
almost completed for that Centaur.
Dahil.
Saw how
Alam
impactful
ko
that
kada
could be in
wave
game
yun eh.
number 1.
Oh,
Finding the
oh.
right targets off the back of the XM Queen of Pain.
Yeah, Q just betting it all here on the Blink Dagger for that Dark Willow. Trying to make those big solo plays.
Bago ba tong may gintong icon? O pang mga pro players lang yan?
He is, I mean, I think you just can't do anything at XXS at this point. Like, he has so much armor.
Yan,
He's got
panakalaro ng mga
4,000
nakaraan
HP
ninyo.
Oh,
in
yeah,
Crimson.
no.
Like,
Naglalaro ka.
he's just a force that you're not going to
Laro
mess
ko
with.
pa.
You just have to straight up
That's
ignore
3
it.
weeks ago
Yeah,
pa.
There's no killing this hero
Bago
right now
i-nerf
until he's the
yan,
last one left.
Willow.
Hindi nga. Na-nerf na.
The Wolves just
Ay, no, evasion niya ng puta.
Gago na 100% yan.
living through
Gago,
it. Tries to press
nakaubos pa ng wave.
Super annoying
O
to play
gago kahit
against.
mag-MKB ka.
Huling laro ko pa ng ano, bago yung birthday
Zincu
ni
in the
Oro.
meantime is also eyeing up an AC.
Tama.
Interesting.
Hindi ko din napapansin. Kahit kalaro ko si Aris.
Still 20 seconds till it's capable of respawning.
Oh, sa tournament lang.
Does have the feeling like that is going to be that next pressure point.
Again, I mean, they were quick on the Roche last time for Aurora, but if they're not in position, we know how terrifying it's going to be to fight there because of the
Meta
time zone.
Yeah.
Nerf siguro yan next pa.
Well, and they got it too, so potentially if it's a quick spawn, XG could just
Kaya
take
nga,
it and they might
Junior
not
pa rin.
even know.
Yeah, it's
Game
true.
Junior pa rin ako.
Yeah. So 35 seconds away.
Kanina
And
eh.
as XXS will take
Kanina
the
eh,
tower
Junior
and
pa
start
rin
to
si
bring
ano
it
eh.
down, this makes the contest option even harder for them.
Good trade though. Same time, you
Si
see
Sniper
Lorna
na.
take the tower up top.
Covered naman
Oh,
ni
they're not even
Sniper.
going to get it. Backdoor kicks
Pwede na si
it.
Shinko mag-build.
Still don't know if they do much about this though. They can just take a little bit of chip damage on the top tier 3 here as Lornoff will just march up, beg them to come home. I don't think they're going to give him the opportunity though.
Again, quick Roche spawn. If they can get them to force them back, XG, they're going to be in a weird situation for the Rose contest. So yeah, they are all taking back.
Oh, he touched him.
Oh my God.
God.
He just destroyed
Oh,
him.
no.
Nalagas
Not
parang
ready
buhok
for
niya,
that
Iga.
one at all. And
Uy, Aro!
finds Ollie right through the trees. Another casualty.
Nanlambot
As
yun.
Aurora,
Oo nga.
they are going to lose 2 off the back of this.
I think he just bet on the fact that he'd be
Hindi na
better.
nagising ang
I think he just thought
Na-
I'll be able to zip.
Wala pang solar flare yun, no?
He was wrong.
Ame was
Naka-BKB
too
na.
quick. Ame was ready. Just like that, that is going to be a devastating loss for
Ida, hindi pa
Aurora.
manta yun.
Set up again for the Roche now, but the more important thing is you're losing
Time
this
lock na
net worth
isa
on
lang.
the core that was already in pain. I mean, the lowest of the cores was the Storm Spirit. The question is, can they get this Aegis now? I feel like they should be able to, even without time zone, but you can see they're actually going to play it safe. They're not going right into the pit. Maybe just wait for everybody and then go.
Yeah, you know there's an ancient camp to be farmed here by Ame, so
That's true.
quickly get that. But that time, it's going to allow the Wolves to get down here from jabs. Sure, he'll maybe send one in to scout out. There are ob
Yeah,
sentry
no?
combos down here from XG though, so they'll know if the wolves make their way through. Here they come over the twin gate. He's gonna see. Oh, he could actually attack those wards, but he's too busy. Gotta go into the Rosh and say, oh, they're not in here. Nice. But instead, they're all smoked up. They're hiding, and they're moving towards you. Now, we have the blink here on Q. He could break the smoke and get out. He can set up for Lornov. There's no time zone for 15 seconds, but there is a Lincoln Sphere picked up from the Faceless Void all of a sudden.
They might not know about that. Jump forward, XXS finds the stun, jumps onto XM, trying to kill him off. A couple more seconds, can they get him out in time? Thinking about going, Lorenov jumps away.
Jabs just got blown up alongside all.
Nawala na
They
yung
didn't stand a
kay
chance
Jabs.
there.
Blink stopped dead.
It's way too much damage. That's the problem. And like the fact of the matter is that because it happens so quickly, Sniper also has this ridiculous take aim ability that not only makes you not be able to hit him with Ghillie Suit, but it gives him 20 armor when he pops it. So they just jump on to Sniper and suddenly this guy's sitting with 45 armor.
He also, you look at the build because he's trying to solve a lot of problems in this game. He needs the Nullifier because of the T-Grab. He needs the Boots of Bearing because of the time zone. He doesn't have a BKB. The damage, he took like 1,250 damage from the Centaur. Most of it just magic. Right? He's getting hit by the Star Zone. He doesn't have his BKB on the leg, and he doesn't have any sort of magic resistance. He's at 30% right now, and he's just getting blown up because of one stun.
It is crazy if you look at how much damage got done in that tiny little window there. And now Aegis on Ame.
23 Savage, he shadow steps in here, wants a free pick on the Xingqiu because of the ward.
And he gets it.
All right, that's something. Slow them down.
You gotta find whatever you can get here. There needs to be these little windows where like something is going right. Ame, time zones. He's coming for you. You gotta get out of there. There's nowhere to go. The storm goes down and showing the value of this much maligned facet choice.
It's just so good versus Storm Spirit.
It's actually winning them the game.
Yeah, he can't play. Like, Ame is just using it as a one-to-one counter. He does not care about anyone else in this game. He has a job. He has a target that he's going to kill with his time zone, and he has done it.
silence,
He's been gifted a very special set of skills. He's coming for
Pero
you.
hindi siya naka ano.
Gonna get the grab here though.
That's nice. That is what you need, and that's the other one-to-one counter.
There you go. That's right. An absolute classic here of the Spectre versus the Sniper, and you're seeing why. Of course, Ame the one with the Aegis. There's no second opportunity there as they're counting on just protecting XM in this game and not allowing that to happen, but it was a ward that was just freshly placed down there from Ollie.
In a way, like Ollie needs to be the one to get so much value out of these Fiend Script, because they can do that to either Sniper or the Faceless Void. Like, he is not insurmountable here. You can break the Lincolns and go right forward, but yeah, they had an idea that there was a ward there.
Yeah, Q also.
Bawal mobility
Got my
spells.
blink on
Okay.
Dark Willow. What do I need next? A Midas. I need the Midas here on the Willow.
Are you kidding me?
There is a plan for Q, and the plan is to get nice and big and golden and shiny.
Of course.
See if he can take over this game there. And now a
Kaso
blink
wala
dagger
silang
as
mga
well.
burst.
Seeing the necessities of
Mabagal ata yung force
There's
out.
another jump here. It's back out. Look at that damage though.
The illusions are a problem. I mean, and even against Ame, he's brought down to
Bearing
half
lang
HP
ata
to
konti.
these Spectre illusions.
This Bloodthorn combination is just a quick assassination
Oh,
here.
alam ko na-dispel ng slow yung
How
bearing.
strong can you get in this game for Spectre? You're also queuing up a nullifier for him. Instead, decides to go back for the Aghanims first. Is now what they've got queued up. And Ame, the big bad carry of last game, a couple levels behind right now, but still with the Aegis and incredibly hard to kill.
The Haunt would be so nice for them if they can get that Aghanims done.
Yeah. The old school ability.
I would do so much in these engagements.
Well, and the other big question too is like, if these pickoffs keep happening, is there eventually a window where Aurora can win a fight? Because each of the like big 5-on-5 engagements feels like they get dominated by the Faceless Void. But if they can find these little picks here and there, that feels a lot more up to the tempo that Aurora is trying to play at. It's 23 Savage. He's just going in to clean up the farm of Creep Wave.
Yeah, he can do that because he has this Manta. He can just pop it, get on back out. Again, it's only every 40 seconds now at this point in the game, so it's not nearly as punishing to spend it. But XG, they do know that Shadow Step used. They can just go ahead, take this tower. And again, no matter how many wolves they take down, there will, or sorry, no matter how many wards they take down, there's still the problem of the wolves. The wolves could be setting up for these shadow step plays throughout the mid game. That's why this is a nice little combo. So you're probably going to see XG stay kind of tight as they move across this map, and that means they might keep growing a gold lead, but they won't end up growing this really big XP lead at the very least.
Yeah.
Oh, but look at this, a little fake back here. They actually smoke in behind, not allowing any sort of a shadow step setup.
Interesting. Jump forward, get the stomp. Dark Willow dead. Does have buyback. Only hero in the game with it right now. And deciding to make this move. Now, if
Jabs
you look up top, Jabs is taking that tier 3 tower as well.
At the same pace, pretty much.
The Wolves hit it very, very quickly. So this is going to be a tier 3 tower and likely a Rax in exchange for a tier 3 tower.
He has to be careful, though. Might have the same problem that Lornov did if he comes back there with the time zone.
Split push, eat your heart out. It is not as strong as it used to be with these Lycans, but it's still something you got to keep in mind.
We managed to get it, though, as the Aegis is expiring. There's no immediate smoke out here from Aurora. We don't have the classic post-Roche smoke quite yet. They got to clean up these lanes a little bit.
And there it is, the Aghanim Scepter. So Haunt is ready now, and you've got a ton of kill potential. Haunt, pop all of your stuff on him, the Bloodthorn, Popping Manta, and you can probably take down these supports, as Willow, like you said, does have that full Midas completed now at 39 minutes. And you can see in comparison, like, Dark Willow's farm is going to start taking off in comparison to Mirana's if this stuff stays static. But will it remain static is a different question.
Oh, Lorna coming close to the enemy team here.
Oh, he's underneath the ward.
Yup.
They don't know about this one. Okay.
Got the spidey senses were tingling, you know?
Yeah. You got to be careful about that.
Jabs does finally queue up the BKB. He's been farming up gold for a while. Kind of just need it. You know, if you want to have any hope of actually using your abilities and your damage during your ulti, feels like a necessity right now for his team.
And Ollie just waiting for somebody to pass by as he queues up the Ags too.
Yeah, he's got his blink grip. Let's try and find a setup here for 23 Savage.
40 minutes in.
Bracer?
And this
Bracer.
push and pull
Parang lahat
that
sila
we're seeing
naka-bracer
between
na eh.
these two teams continue.
Oh, kung
When
paano lang.
XG get
Pampabuhay
together,
lang.
it's really hard for Aurora to fight them. But when Aurora
Malatag lang yung spell
managed to
bago
find these
mamatay.
pickoffs, it starts to feel a little bit better for them as well. Full butterfly completed for Ame.
He is just...
Parang wala na gumagamit ng dalawang ano.
Right? He has level
Yung dalawang isa pa, yung ano,
20
talisman
talent with a
tsaka
plus
ano,
80 attack speed,
right.
so currently he's getting plus 230 attack speed in the time zone alongside his allies.
And Solar Flare, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, yeah, he will kill everybody, I'm pretty sure. Even through Blade Mail, probably. I mean, like, I don't know. This is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, well, I think that's why he's going for that next choice as well there, and this Satanic makes sense, right? Doesn't want to be locked down by the Mask Madness.
Absolutely. Still, windows to fight. As off to the side lanes they go, turning off that Radiance and running away was Spec.
It's going to be so much pressure on 23 Savage. We talked about the pressure on Jabs, you know. It worked out. Right? They didn't get run over in the early game. They managed to kind of stabilize things. This lead isn't too crazy or anything here for XG. Now it feels like that pressure has been pressed over to 23 Savage, who now jumps in.
And they find
That's
him.
a big boy, though.
Ame is there with the time zone, immediately lifts him up and destroys that Bane. They force out the abilities and manage to get away with everybody else. So the main loss there is going to be the Vane's
Nabati yung Bracer, pre. Walang nagawa.
But they force everybody from XG back to the base, and 23 Savage gets out.
Lambot
That's
na
definitely biting off more than you can chew.
Wala na
That's-
magagawa
yeah,
yan.
The Centaur War,
Pang
but it's
early
not the
game
hero they
lang.
want to go on there. That felt like a limit test. Just like, can we kill him? Like,
No.
maybe?
No, it's not happening.
No.
There's
Definitely
no
looks
way.
like no.
It's now an attempt over here. Xingqiu will see some Spectre illusions, but 23 Savage is already out of there. Did end up going for the Haunt illusion damage, by the way, on the Spec. So potentials towards a refresher or something else. The Mantas, all of it, it's going to start stacking up the deeps. Maybe a chance to try and kill a support from back in the fountain.
And Aurora, they're trying to get as much XP
Ano,
as they
fire
can here
na
on the
rin siya.
Warnob. They actually leave the Wisdom Rune for him there. Q says, go ahead, I don't need it.
Right.
as they're going to jump very quickly, blowing up DY. See you later.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about.
But
yeah.
you can't get it.
A little bit too scary.
Yeah, I think good choice there.
So they secure the gem. It's BKB done on Lycan. And yeah, Q just farming away these creep camps. That's the problem, right? Anytime they just like get a little bit of separation, death. Dead on the supports, except for XXS, because again, he's not going to die.
Oh, they're coming
and in fact,
jabs.
He's going to find jabs here. Has to go into that shapeshift. Eul Scepter tries to run away. Not easy to get out. And yes, the root, the finish. Dead Lycan.
Oh, that's a tough one here, though, as that means the Rosh has just respawned, and he has no way back into this game right now.
They have
You
Hex.
know what? He just got his beat.
Yeah, it was
really
like
hurts. It
just
was on
done.
the courier, yeah. Oh, it feels like they needed this. They have this haunt. They wanted to use it, but 30 seconds till it's going to be coming back online. They're already in the Rosh pit. You have no Lycan in this game. That's going to be giving up the Aegis and the Refresher Shard here.
Oh my
Of
god.
XG.
Look at the solar flare with this. This is a little bit of absurdity coming out. And yes, they will manage to take that for themselves. Refresher Shard 2. And now XG. Is it your time to shine? XinQ runs on down, hoping to find Q, who's hiding off to the side. In fact, we'll get him with the arrow. Went into the Shadow Realm, but don't know if that's going to be enough to get him out of trouble. Gets the blink away. Will also have a Eul Scepter assassinate just a little bit out of range. And so they can't quite connect onto the Dark Willow. Buying some extra time.
Yeah,
and forcing Stampede.
They are immediately back down on this bottom creep wave, though. And Solar Flare is going to be back in about 25 seconds. If anyone steps up here to try and delay this,
yeah,
I think Ame is just going to jump.
No, it's a death trap. Has that Refresher Shard too. And Q jumped upon. Ame now there, breaks the Lincoln Sphere. Eul Scepter trying to survive level blink afterwards, but can't quite manage to get out.
God.
Does have the Lincolns broken. They're waiting to see if they can get it again. With that enfeeble, drops it onto Ame to try and get a little bit less damage done. Lincoln's broken now. Have Fiend's Grip ready, but you know that you're not going to be able to get the full duration on it.
Yeah.
Too difficult. Jumps for the back line, wants to find him. Time zone down. Storm gets to the far side. Ame now hits onto that Lycan. He runs away, barely getting out. Able to survive through it. XinQ
Nice
low,
stun.
a huge Curse Crown, and the Terrorize too. Do they have enough damage to take him down though? XM starting to drop lower, but the cheese, he survives. Nullifier onto Ame, trying to bring down XM. There's the BKB finally used. The disarm is there. Laurent jumps back in, wants to take down XM. They're trying to get away on 23 Savage, but it's not enough. Lorenov is in trouble. XM will die. The Storm manages to get away, and somehow they hold. But will it matter? They still have a Refresher Shard ready to go. Ame, he gets away.
But Bobbin and Weavin somehow escaping there. A huge defense here from Aurora. It is painful to lose your Spectre, there's no doubt about that, but at least, I mean, that looked like it could have been so much worse, right? People are barely getting out of the time zone, getting up to the high ground there. They can breathe a little sigh of relief as they actually do leave the zone here. XG will back up and give them a chance to recoup on Aurora. They're keep this game going.
Somehow they hold on what felt
Puro
like a
time zone
death
na yan.
push here. As you can see, the decision to jump for the back lines and just barely getting away, and then almost took out jabs too. All of those bashes coming out.
Yeah, and then a very clutch cheese here from XM as well, of course. They finally managed to bring down XinQ. It feels like they're spending so much of their effort and energy just to kill one support, but then all of a sudden it looks like XM's gonna go down, and no, cheese is there. And then 23 Savage, unfortunately, it looked good. Like, it looked like it was gonna be the mop and bucket situation where Spectre's gonna come in and clean up a fight that so many of the resources had already been expended, and now there's not that much left for the Spectre, but wasn't the case. XM's able to just turn until finally getting cleaned up by Lorenov. That's a huge part of that last fight that they needed so bad.
But it does also speak to potentially some concerns for XG. If you lose, well, not lose, if you come close in that fight, when you have Aegis, when you got Cheese, when you got all these big abilities, will they be able to execute when those are actually used up? Now, they do still have that Refresher Shard, but can they keep this sniper alive? Will it end up mattering? They got an MKB now done on Ame. Maybe he's going to be all the damage himself.
Looks like that's the plan here. Of course, it's very annoying getting through these trickster cloaks. Very Very annoying dealing with a lot of these items, but that's the answer now. Jabs continues to just push top.
And
A
down
defense
bottom.
is called out here by XXS at the same time.
Yeah, so they won't have the Centaur in this fight right now. They kill off the creep wave that was coming in bottom. And maybe an opportunity. Does have those bots.
I mean, look at this lane control here from Aurora. The top lane is hitting, middle is at the mid, but they're going to keep pushing in bottom.
And they decide to go. This did not work before. Will it work now? Do they have enough to kill off this XXS Centaur? Almost, yes. They get him.
Back down bottom, though.
And now taking buildings. Jabs, he's actually getting the split push working. Got to run away with the rest of these heroes. They don't have that many resources left from the Spectre, but Jabs has taken a whole lane on his own, and now they find Ame. Wait a minute, Ame down to half HP. Ame falling lower and lower. Ame, he's dead. That's one round. Now they don't have a Fiend script ready to take him down, but burning through that Aegis is pretty huge. And in the meantime, Jabs did so much work. Lorenz jumps in. Dude, they still have time zone, my man.
Guy's getting crazy.
That was a little bit crazy of a move, but look at the split push.
Oh, man.
Wolf lang pa, wolf lang.
Aurora to go on that Centaur, and it was so close. Had to get that last little jump in there from 23 Savage, actually get the kill, and then immediately come back down to try and defend bottom. It ends up being a trade, but again, it's just huge stuff there.
Look at that damage.
Aurora.
4,500.
Yeah, it only took 6,411 damage to kill this Centaur. That's easy peasy.
My goodness. It showed it's possible, though. I am remembering back to our first series of the day, though, when BetBoom started to pull things back and then got shut down pretty mercilessly. Can Aurora dodge that fate here and force us to a game 3? Will it end up happening? This Scythe, super valuable on the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, going for the Scythe and also going for the Abyssal Blade next on 23 Savage. There is a theme here in the next itemization, right? Try and lock down and try and kill, because you bought these nullifiers. You're saying, we're getting rid of the saves that you have on the side of XG, and I want to be able to just click a hero and have them actually die. So that's the plan. They're going to try and chain stun Ame. They want to get him before this time zone comes out. Or if the fight's already broken down, they want to just ensure that XM actually dies, doesn't get off this concussive grenade, doesn't disarm and push them back. For now, though, we're just going to be rotating on opposite sides of the map here. You can see Aurora, they're pinging up towards top, saying, hey, should we go push this, play up there again? They feel like they should be coming down to the bottom once more here from XG. Everyone playing really tight right now. They don't want to give up on these Shadow Step pickoffs. They know that the Han is also going to be coming back here pretty soon.
One of the other concerns at this point, if you're Aurora, is that the split push, there's still tier 2 towers up in mid as well as bottom. 23 Savage throws out those illusions, tempts fate for a moment and then gets out. But it's a lot harder to sort of provide the same type of damage and sort of issues on the map if you're trying to take down a tier 2 tower on the bottom lane.
That's
for
true.
Jabs.
But these waves are really annoying.
Oh yeah.
Like, they just keep pushing them out here from the Radiant side. Now that's going to be the Shard finished up here on our Spectres, so help with the dispersion a little bit there.
Right. So being able to activate that one and then do some extra dispersion damage, very valuable against these high damage heroes.
They still just have the Silver Edge on XM, so that's the break that they're working with right now. Could be a key factor in winning some of these engagements if you can land that. Roche up. Well, we're going to find out how long it's going to take in 30 seconds.
The other thing that we had seen built up for a little while was the Lycan Silver Edge. So Jabs queuing it up and trying to get that one completed to break the backtrack damage would be very, very nice, as well as a potential answer for Ame.
Buying out for it? Okay, no, he just ran by the shop. I was terrified. I do not think that's the play. He's only got a 1,500 surplus right now, so I definitely do not think... Oh, that's going to help him, though. 3 bounty runes just found in the Dire Jungle.
Wow.
Cool.
Very nice.
All right, you're welcome, team. That's going to cut the lead down a little bit.
I mean, again, we're down to 3K gold lead 52 minutes in. After XG leading so much of not just this game, but the entire series, you can see a pathway for Aurora here to find a victory. They can get where they need to go. Ollie is in deep.
He's trying to set up again once more. Has some vision here.
There's an opportunity. Xingqiu, not a great go, but if they could find somebody else who's just off on their own, it would be huge.
Yeah, it's a great game for the Ninja Gear here. Just watching out for these assassination plays with the Shadow Step. Going to help keep him protected. And in terms of protection as well, Q has finished up the Wind Waker, so there is no buyback on this Dark Willow, but there's a huge save potential because they do not have the nullifiers on the side of XG.
And still, again, keep in mind that time zone refresher is at the ready for Ame.
And it's 10 seconds till the next Roche. It's going to be spawning on that Radiant side, down bottom. They have control here on XG. They've actually dropped a shrapnel in the pit as well here, so.
Okay.
They might just keep popping those down. Of course, has the 25 talent for it.
Looks like they're just going to miss that it's over there. And in the meantime, Bane, I think, reveals on a ward up top.
Yep, does deward it, so they 100% know that he was there. They're going to smoke up and back towards this Roche. They're going through the twin gate. They throw an arrow in just to see. Say, oh yeah, Roche is up. But are they still going to go?
Are they deciding?
They're still going to go.
Jabs, jabs, jabs. Goes in, gonna pop the boots of bearing, gonna try and double doing it out of there. Jabs running, escaping.
Always out.
Just like that, he gets away.
What's the plan though? He BKB'd. He wants to go back in.
And they're thinking about it. XM already getting found. There's the grip. Do they have enough? Can they get on top of him? Where's the help? Lorena right on top. DY starting to fall. Ame there too. Hitting away. Time zone finally gets stopped. It's on to 23 Savage. He doesn't have any way to go either. Lorenov has to zip to get away. XG starting to pick up speed here now as they find the storm. Able to dodge that zip, but eventually they get their kill.
They went for it all. They went for the fight. They weren't sure if it was good, but they didn't want to try and wait for another engagement. There wouldn't be a shapeshift. There wouldn't be the BKB. He felt like that was his moment here from Jabs, and the team followed alongside it, but they couldn't connect everything. He throws the nullifier onto DY, tries to kill over there. They're trying to get this grip kill onto XM, but they don't have the damage in time.
And he buys out for a Desolator right now, too, on the Lycan. As you can see this yet again. Everything got used, and of course, when they brought that refresher back in, that second time zone was what absolutely destroyed 23 Savage.
Yeah, he left and he comes back in, and then it's this Regoose attempt here where things kind of go awry, right? You get the grip on the side, but back in the main game, we got a real fight here as Lorenov jumps in.
Oh my god, rooted arrow done! Didn't stand a chance. That's a dieback. They need everything and a bit more, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get it. As they move in, find Jabs. Jabs done, buys back now. They only have 4 heroes to try and defend against this onslaught that's coming. XG, they have looked good all year, and here on the main stage at TI trying to close this one out, secure themselves top 6. Ame hits away tier 4 towers, 23 Savage off to the side, hoping to do anything at all. What do they have left in the tank? Refreshers are out. He goes for the backlines, wants to find him, jumps immediately onto DY. Do they have enough to kill him off? They do. DY dead. Xingqiu the next target, trying to take out these supports. Looking, hunting, finding, killing, and they're the grip, but immediately they get the lift off. Now it's just the cores left alive. They buy back on the Mirana. XM getting lower and lower, but there's nobody else to jump onto him. There it is, the nullifier hit. Still chasing, looking, time zone at the ready. If they present him as a target, that's Q dead too. Only 3 left alive, and I don't know if they've got it in the tank. XG set to close this one out. Jab steps forward in the Innovis, and he finds him. XM dead. They take down the sniper. Now looking for Ame. Time zone out, trying to take him down. In trouble, can't get anything off. The cast range reduction, it's all hurting them there. 23 Savage backs away, but the throne exposed. It's all too much. XG, they're gonna win the game.
Bye, see.
The hunt for Ame's crown continues. They're gonna knock Aurora out here in the lower bracket in a 2-0 victory. XG, masterfully played here.
Such a good round from them. Ame, he gets his heroes, he chooses what he wants to run and puts it together in perfect fashion. And again, the Xingqiu Mirana, not seen a ton, but obviously a painful loss here on this main stage. The thoughts of what could have been.
Yeah, but Aurora, I mean, they came in, they picked their Spectre again, right? They found a win with it before. They come in, they try and make this play work with the last pick, Lycan. And they almost had something there cooking. But it's not quite enough versus XG, who, as you can hear, have quite a few fans here.
Unbelievable performance. And again, this team that has looked so good all year made it to multiple grand finals. They drop down early to the lower bracket, but end up making this run here. And where does it stop? I mean, this is a team that you don't want to face in the lower bracket at all on elimination.
Now there's a lot of pressure here, right? All the
Game
hopes
2
of China
pala
riding
ng
on them right
Spirit
now.
tsaka G2
Having to
ID.
win such a pivotal
Yung
series
ano.
versus Team Spirit just to make top
Nag-mid
8,
Collapse tsaka
right?
si Monet.
Now, having to go a little bit further here. China never finishing before top 4 at TI.
And yet again, another
Sino
moment
transtalk ni Collapse,
where
di
they
ba
were
kasi
able
is?
to show up in front of the fans, put on a solid performance. You can see already out there a lot of love from the crowd as they'll move on to top 6 off the back of, again, a Muerta for Ame, a time zone faceless void.
Yeah, confidence is just growing here on this team, right? It looks like they've got their ideas here for Ame, how they want to play this. Feels like they have a good idea going into the draft, and just, I don't know if they're feeling themselves, right? That's what you want.
Absolutely. Maps, the coach, says if it looks like a good game for our sniper, if it looks like a good game for that Muerta, we're going to pick it for them. As we head on over to the interview, let's hear from the Chance.
Manager yun ng ano, Tundra.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. I am here with XXS. How are you feeling after your
Oh,
first main
gago.
stage series?
Meron, kaya meron ay top big from video ng Tundra. Yung ano, nandun na siya nanonood lang din kasama si ano, yung coach.
Happy, it feels great.
Awesome. So, were there any nerves at all stepping out here onto this big, beautiful stage for the first time?
这舞台很大很漂亮，有没有任
Gilbert
何
ang
一
puta.
丝的紧张
Simon
呢
Guess.
没有吧，
Gilbert
很兴奋，打得很爽。
？No nerves at all. I'm very excited.
Wow, that is
Mendra
that's
po.
cold. Ice in the veins. Excellent stuff. Well, very successful series from you guys. I want to ask, is the XM sniper just completely uncounterable?
就很成功的一场比赛，XM 的火枪是不是就一个无敌的英雄呢
是的，他是世界第一火枪手。
？Of course, he's the world's best sniper.
I'm not sure many people would disagree with you right now. And of course, it does seem like there's a lot of Chinese fans in the room right now, a lot of people traveling here to watch you play. How does that feel to have them with you right now?
现场看起来很多中国的粉丝，然后很多人也从世界各地过来看你们打比赛，感觉怎么样？有没有什么想跟他
Si
们
Pete
说的？
Bian yun.
就很感谢他们吧，然后听见他们的呐喊，就感觉更有力量。
Thank you very much for the support, and hearing your cheers makes us more powerful.
Excellent, it certainly has done. And finally from me then, you've
Mukha
got
niya
another
eh,
series
Aquafina.
coming up. It's going to be either Tundra or Gaming you're playing against. Who would you most like to face out of those teams?
你们下一场的对手是 Tundra 或者 GG 的败者，你更希望面对哪一支战队呢
我不是很在乎这个，感觉都差不多。
？I don't really care about this. It feels about the same.
Excellent, all right, XSS, thank you so much for coming to talk to
Gago,
me.
bugbugin ka nito po, gagi. Si Steven ayoko yun, pre.
Thank you very much, Nomad and XXS and Helen for the translation. Of course, I do want to shout out XXS Centaur.
Sinasabi Joe.
I think that in this second game of the series,
Sino?
he felt like the
Di
target
pa.
that Aurora
Mamaya
often
Tundra
wanted
kalaban.
to go on.
Lagi mga old dad na yun. Tapos second place lang.
This Centaur, I feel like he suffered a lot.
Yeah, he was definitely a
Parang
center of
silang
attention
DSW
for Aurora team. They were focusing on
Kaso-
him heavily. And I
Oh.
want to point out XXS, every single time this guy plays a Blink Initiator, he really shines. Like, he knows
Planning Team
so many
Spirit so let's
multiple
see.
hero stunts coming out from him. Itemization as well. Did go for that Yule Scepter, and he was playing on a different side of the map, understanding that Aurora, they might go for a little bit of a split push action, some rat action.
Last
They did take
scene na
that
lang
rat,
pre si Whitemon.
buys Boots of Travel, early investment.
Oh,
Blake
siya na
now
lang
into
na-
double
si
Bracer
Whitemon na
into
lang yung si
Crimson, which does allow him to tank up his
Ignition.
full team. Did have that one Stampede misclick, but other than that, flawless performance.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you see here, this was the fight that took the wind out of the sails for Aurora. Like, Extreme, they held the high ground beautifully, utilizing the time zone, finding the jump. But before that, jabs on the Lycan. It was a last pick that gave us some question marks, but the early game, it was exceptional. He goes for drum, Vlad's into nullifier. He's opening up the game. He's trying his best to find opportunities. And something we didn't really talk about was the Wolves constantly giving vision for the Spectator and jump.
Saksa nga partida, nagpahinga lang eh. Tangina nung bumalik. Basta makas pa yung Tundra.
But then just the inevitable came in. Like the late game, the mid game of Extreme, the fight is so difficult. Like to find the sniper, you have to get through the void. You have to get through the centaur. And even when you get there, do you have enough damage through the life drain of the Pugner? Of course, we know the answer now.
Tayo na
It
yung
wasn't,
mga
but
basketball
fair play to
player
Aurora.
yun,
They
si
gave it
Saksa.
a really, really good shot.
Yeah, Japs cooked very hard
Saksa.
on that Lycan. looked like it
Hindi,
kind of
mukha
was
lang
a
tangkad
Hail
eh.
Mary pick for them, where it didn't make too much sense in terms of how it fit in with the entire draft, but it gave Aurora what they needed, which was a way to play that early game, and play it they did. Unfortunately for them, XG, their team fighting was way too difficult, because you're looking at this time zone by Void. That's just a ground that neither of your supports can enter. Your Bane cannot enter the time zone, neither can your Willow. They can't play into it. You're losing two heroes who, if they walk in, they're insta-killed by Void. On top of that, it's giving, what, 150 bonus attack speed to all of the allies. That's including your Sniper and Mirana, who are also being buffed up by the Solar Flare. So you have 150 extra damage, with 100 extra damage for Mirana, with extra projectile speed for both Mirana and Sniper. And the story of the game was, every time Ame had time zone, the fight was insta-lost for Aurora.
Yeah, you can tell that this time zone was a very strong choice. And it's the same facet he went for the previous time where we saw him play Faceless Void. And I know sometimes it gives a little bit of chuckles here and there, but Lacoste is very strong.
It is super strong, and he also eliminated 23, the only player who did play Faceless Void so far at Road to TI and TI. Chrono Square is a mean spell, as we can see. You know, buffing up your allies, slowing down the enemies. A leash mechanic, great against the Storm Spirit. They did try to counter it with this early Boots of Bearing on Lycan, so you can't be slowed for a second and a half, which was not enough a lot of the times because the fights were so chaotic. And I also want to point out Jinkyu. This guy, I don't think he's enjoying playing Dota right now with the itemization that he's going for, because he's always greedy, always doing something fancy. Game 1, Solar Vlad's, very teamfight oriented. Second game, Vlad's Lotus into AC. You can't click those items other than Lotus Orb. So I feel like he's just tanking one for the team, not having much fun. But, you know, he's winning, so that's kind of a fun, right?
Yeah, if you win, I think you're going to be happy regardless. Tico, this game was very strong for Extreme Gaming. I do also want to talk a little bit about the Sniper that we talked about a lot. We know that XM is very strong on it. Do we feel that this was a game where Aurora kind of counters it because it wasn't popping off as hard as it was in their series against Team Spirit?
Yes and no. I think they countered it in the fact that Lycan was able to play super aggressive, and the Spectre was very quick to jump in the early game. But there's still something where it's like, if you're picking Storm Spirit against Extreme, not banning the Sniper, you're just giving him a free pass in laning phase. Like, he bullied him back to the jungle, and then when you, sure, you kill him for 10, 20 minutes, but when he gets to 30 minutes and he has a BKB or a Shadow Blade or something else, then he pops off. And we already mentioned the combos with the Void, so did they counter it? No. Should teams respect it? Yes. And I'm surprised now 2 elimination series in a row, we've seen Sniper vs Storm, Extreme win, and progress further. At what point will teams now start respecting the Sniper?
Maybe at this point. This was as far as it goes for XM and his Sniper. And someone who was taking the brunt of XM Sniper, of course, is mid laner Lorinov, who we're going to hear some final words from Aurora.
Yeah, thanks, Sheebs. I am here with Lorinov from Aurora. Unfortunately, they have, of course, just been knocked out of the tournament. You guys were great fun to watch. Talk me through that series. What made it so difficult against Extreme Gaming?
I think we have everything to win first and second game. Actually, first game we got unlucky for active rune. He got first 3 active, but we still have a lot of choice to take a good fight. I think we don't take our fights properly.
Okay, so something to build on for next year. What do you guys hope to achieve going forward next season?
Trying to improve our playstyle, I think, and individually like players.
So I will say this: last year, these guys, a lot of these guys were on Talon. Now you've come in and given the Lorinov buff, and they've made top 8. Are the team happy with how you guys have done overall, or are you a little disappointed?
I don't know about team in general. I think we can win kind of more. They just don't have enough synergy with these players, I think.
Okay, fair enough. Well, look, you've got a lot of fans around the world who are watching and enjoying Aurora play. Is there anything that you'd like to say to them?
Thanks for helping. Kinda nice.
Kinda nice, indeed. Lorinov, can we get a round of applause for Aurora and Lorinov taking the time to come and chat to us? Thank you very much. But of course, the tournament continues, and for more on that, Shiva, back to you.
Thank you very much, Pyrion and Lorinov, and I think that this Aurora has brought a lot of smiles to people's faces this last year, and Lorinov, Lacoste definitely one of the star players.
Oh, absolutely. When they are winning, this is the guy that is in charge of keeping the tempo, calling the shots as well. Really good to see him. This is his first DI reaching top 8, so you know, you can always ask for more. You always want to try and get that Aegis lifted, but good start of the career, I would definitely say, and has a very good career ahead of him.
And his future is very bright. He's already left an impact on a lot of players as well. If you watch high MMR pubs, they always have their name as Mode Lorinov Mindset, and that's because he just farms so much net worth in the first 10 minutes, and that's kind of what he's famous for. So he has a lot of pride to be taken here at this TI. It was a great debut, and his future is very, very bright.
I mean, you can just see from his reaction, it just means a lot to him, right? Like he wants to do better. He probably is like thinking about certain moments already and how to improve. So hopefully he's able to harness what happened now and then push himself forward for the future for sure.
Yeah, for Aurora, we remember the time when he came actually into Team Aurora as a stand-in, and it made the team level up and get better. And all his teammates were saying how great it was to have Lorinov join in on the squad and lift everybody's spirits up. And I'm sure that bright future for all of Aurora, not just Lorinov, of course. Aurora taking their exit here, but they did so in style. We had a Lycan, a first pick Lycan at this event, played by Jabs, and it's Purge that's going to tell us how the Lycan fits in.
Thank you, Cheever. Yeah, the Lycan was a very interesting pick this game. There was a big gap missing for Aurora Gaming, and what they really needed was something to deal with the Pugna backline and something to get on Sniper. So picking the Lycan here solved some of those problems. Here's the laning stage. He ended up getting first blood on Jabs here, wrapping the Wolves around to get behind the Pugna. And one of the reasons that it counters this hero is because Pugna just has a slow, basically. And you can decrypt the main Lycan, but the Wolves are still going to deal damage. So he gets first blood there, and then he starts moving the Wolves across the map consistently to help with these fights. Sometimes it's something as simple as a Howl. It lowers armor by 4 at level 1, which is a huge amount. And the fact that he can just get on top of the Sniper and the Pugna and out DPS him is really helpful. So here's some of his other Wolf scouting that was so impactful. Summons Wolves, crosses the map, denies runes, and what he's trying to do is find important heroes so that his team can make good decisions about what to do with their time. And because they have a Storm Spirit and a Spectre, those heroes need vision to be able to choose when it's the right time to go in. So just being able to spot out a Sniper here, get him to 75% HP to give Lorinov an opportunity to get a kill is huge.
Yes,
that's an ultimate there and a TP rotation from a Pugna just to keep that guy alive. And then on top of that, he's still doing the same thing with Wolves. They get vision on Lame here. They get a Fiend's Grip. They use all their global items. This is basically what kept them in the mid game, despite being a little bit behind in net worth. Even sometimes it's just going to produce some little solo kills. Look at this cheeky little nullifier from the high ground Wolves. He's back to farming. He's hit so many creeps this game. So this Wolf scouting that he did to set up kills for his cores was very impactful. It was cool to see the first pick Lycan and for it also to be successful in terms of getting kills. It didn't win in the end because the team fight's a bit weak, but it was an impressive showing.
Thank you very much, Purge. It was impressive. Did things, and I think that
nasira yung
left its
plano
mark
niya.
for sure. But Aurora taking their exit here as we see Extreme Gaming moving forward, and we can take a look at this bracket. I think during the road to the international Lacoste, we had quite a few upsets, but this morning, BB Team and Aurora taking leave here against teams that they had never won a series against this year. It's not a surprise.
I kind of expected they were just better teams in 2024, throughout the whole 2024, and also today they showed a better performance, so no real surprises, but the top part of the bracket is looking spicy.
It really is. I think, you know, my heart's hurting a bit from all the eliminations. I'm done with eliminations. Upper bracket?
Yeah, we've got Liquid vs Cloud9, we've got Liquid, you know, arguably one of the favorites after destroying Extreme in the series before. Cloud9, probably the biggest underdog left because of their, what they've achieved in the year. It's like not qualified for much, and suddenly now they're in a upper bracket, top 8 or top 6 position. It's mental to think about, and then stand-in Tundra also as well. So yeah, upper bracket's looking really, really good.
How are you gonna enjoy watching the game, Safi?
It's always very jarring to go from the desperation of elimination games to upper bracket and seeing how different that feels, but I am very excited for Liquid C9 because you could argue that C9 had the easiest bracket on their road to this point, so Liquid will be their true test in terms of can they actually hang with the top dogs, or was it a stroke of fate? I think they can hang. I think they've been playing incredibly well, but we'll have to see.
We will have to see, but you don't have to wait for very long because we're very close to getting our upper bracket games on your screens. We're going to swap our panel out, so Nati will take you through the rest of the day, and I'm going to leave you with some words that Liquid had before stepping into the arena today.
So far, the best moment in the tournament was winning against Extreme Gaming, for sure.
I think we played the best game of our lives this season, so
for the first time at this tournament, I guess it really clicked.
Hey,
We played really well.
They're all falling apart, all 4, all 5 gone! As Team Liquid, for the 3rd year in a row, is going to be going to the International.
And I didn't really have like any complaints. I can be a bit of a, how do you say it, perfectionist.
Yeah.
Like I like to watch back and criticize, and I kind of felt like there wasn't much to be negative about. So that was really nice.
The worst moment was losing to Spirit, because we got 0-2'd and we played horribly.
It's frustrating when you play a team that's very, they like to trick you, or they like to like bait you in, and they like to make you do bad moves or take bad fights, and it kind of just kept on happening. That was frustrating.
After the loss, we just watched the replay, kind of analyzed the game and pointed out mistakes.
It's pretty easy to simplify and say like, okay, well this and this happened, and in order to avoid it, you know, we need to be better about, you know, the things that led up to it. So I think it's just to kind of hammer in where you screwed up and make sure you don't do it again.
Cloud9 is that they have this amazing mid player, No One. He's been playing out of his mind this tournament, and you know, I hope he won't play as good when he plays against us. So.
I think they're a pretty fun team. They've always been a little bit between like the tier 1 and tier 2 for a little bit, and I think it's cool to see them go really far with some, not necessarily new blood, but I feel like they're doing really well now.
I think the hardest match was when I was like playing Shaker against Team Spirit, because the game was like winnable, but it was 50 minutes, so like not much happening.
They were just another beast, to be honest, and it felt really hard to you know, play on normal Dota against them.
Even though we
Oh.
lost
Yeah,
against
joking
them, earlier, I feel like BB team was pretty solid, and we kind of had to claw our way into a victory in game 1, and then in game 2 we just got smashed. And yeah, I don't know, that was probably like the biggest, where I felt like we were maybe a little bit outmatched, at least in some of the games.
Going up against Extreme was it was like hard opponent, obviously, but usually we win against them in scrims, so we were like confident a bit.
Their playstyle is kind of traditional, so they're not very surprising to play against. They can be more difficult to draft against.
E6 now.
And so I think when you're in the game, you kind of expect the same, you know. Hamlet's gonna farm, he's gonna become the beast, the god carry. And you kind of just need to try and like beat them before they get there, I guess. You know, it's not so nice to go into super late game against some mega extreme gaming, the wall of China, I like to call it, where they just have like really big team fight and a carry in front, and it feels like it's very tough to play against.
In terms of how we're feeling like very confident, very good. We're playing some scrims, and especially after Peru, it wasn't like the greatest tournament we had.
A lot of ups and downs in our mood and everything, atmosphere, vibes. But I think for TI, we've been really stepping it one level up for, you know, just for everyone to have fun and try to get everyone to play to their abilities.
It's always stressful, you know, and there's always going to be some arguments or some conflicts. In general, I think every team has a lot of those, but we're pretty good at handling it. I think if we get a little annoyed or upset at each other, kind of just end up not making a big deal out of it, which I think is nice. I think we have to move on from you can't be like consistently upset about stuff. And I think we've been really good about it, and I think the mood is good, and I don't know, nice vibes.
TI
Team Liquid giving us a little bit of an insight there into what happens behind the scenes when they do hit those snags in the road. But right now, they haven't faced any. They're still in the upper bracket for themselves. And we're only halfway through our day at #1 here at the main event of TI13. There's been a panel change. I'm going to be your host, Nat T. And joining me to my left, Fia, Winter, and Jenkins yet again. Jenkins, we'll start all the way down the end. How good does it feel to be in the arena in front of a crowd?
It's great to be here. This is technically my first TI in front of a crowd. I can feel the energy.
No, it's not.
It is. There was the COVID TI.
That's all the cheers for you, by the way.
Nah, that's for Team Liquid and the next guys to come up, of course, which I like that we've had 2 almost 60-minute games so far. You can tell that the players are also feeling the energy of the crowd. Like, things are different when you're actually on the playoffs main stage of TI.
Yeah. And what about yourself, Winter?
A little bit sad because my friends...
Over on the SEA, yeah, Aurora.
Yeah. But, you know, we still have a lot of good games ahead of us, especially the current series. So excited to watch the next coming games.
Yeah, we've got Liquid up against Cloud9 and Fear. We're seeing Liquid on our screens right there. They're having a bit of a pre-series huddle. Do you think that helps get the nerves out? I mean, you're someone that's played on the stage many times before, so does this help? Was this ever an influence for you and your team?
Yeah, I definitely think it helps. It depends on the player, though, but it does help get out the nervousness before going in. Just go in as a team, huddle it up. You can just say whatever you want to say, let it out, and then go on the stage and just play your best Toto.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of people as well, so not just the players there, but on the side of Liquid, they've got a lot of supporting staff for themselves. They've got those 3 coaches or an analyst, and then you got KP, the analyst in Jabs, then you got another coach in KP, and then you have their main coach there as Blitz. So that's 3 supporting staff, and I mean, it's working out for them, Jenkins.
And they had Jerax as well.
They did. That was a little while ago.
I mean, they've had a couple of solid years here, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's working out. I like that teams are getting more support staff, you know. OG was the first team to really invest in a sports psychologist, and that obviously worked out for them. You know, 2 TI wins in a row, so it makes sense that we're continuing that trend here.
Yeah. Well, look, our day, like I said, it's only halfway right now, but we've shifted to the upper bracket. We want to get things going. We want to see who's going to continue on and make a name for themselves here at TI13. So let's bring out our very first team. Welcome to the stage, Liquid.
Naka-open ako, sorry.
Ang inang yan.
We're seeing these 5 players walking out on stage for the first time here at TI13. The biggest change up to them, we saw them at the last international, is their offlaner. Will they be able to get bigger results for themselves? Will they continue in the upper bracket, or will their opponents knock them down? Either way, we want to see who they're facing come out on stage as well. So let's welcome Cloud9.
Araw, tagal mo stun.
Gago, nahuli pa ako.
Tara, try natin yan.
The old entity roster now, Cloud9, being in a position a lot of people wouldn't expect it. Guaranteed top 6, walking out here, having to face Team Liquid. They've had some roster changes over the years, but here they are, upper bracket, making a name for themselves. It's going to be a very close series for sure, but who exactly would have the potential advantage between Cloud9 and Liquid here in the upper bracket?
Oh, it's definitely hard to say because these teams got here for a reason with really strong performances. But I think if you look at LAN experience, Liquid is the team that has a lot of it. They have a lot of top 2 finishes, even recently winning a LAN tournament. So their confidence probably is through the roof right now.
Yeah, and through the group stages, I also felt like Cloud9, they weren't really tested all the way. They had some good games here. By far, their biggest test right now going up against Liquid. And obviously, Fear already mentioned that Liquid has a lot more experience compared to Cloud9. But Cloud9 has impressed me with their drafts. You know, they don't have the biggest hero pool compared to all the teams around here, but they have some very, very solid strats, which has been proven to be very effective in the tournament.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Fear, you said on one of the panels previously that C9, they play their own version of the current meta, so they do, play with the healing strats and grouping up and pushing and 5-manning. But they're one of the few teams that will still pick Tinker. Katomi often ends up being more farmed than his offlaner and sometimes enemy cores. So and I think that's what you have to do in order to make this hero work. Their drafts are very different from other teams' drafts. They've picked Carry Invoker as well. So at C9, I do feel like they are a tough nut to crack. This is not a standard team by any means.
I think there's a lot more preparation that's needed when it comes to drafting against Cloud9 because of those different play styles that they have, different heroes that they like to have for themselves as well. But the biggest thing that stands out about these two teams is that we haven't seen them play in about 5 days. So they were teams that executed and played well enough to win their seeding best of 3, go into that upper bracket, then win their next one, which guaranteed them here a spot at TI13. And so now, with that big break for themselves, I'm wondering what they learn of other teams and how the meta might have changed for them. Are different priorities also placed out there for themselves, Winter?
I mean, this is when you mentioned about the support.
Nabuhay pa yun?
Like for Team Liquid, they have a more.
Ay, namatay.
C9, they have 1. But the break definitely gives you a lot of time to go and look at your opponents and try to figure out, should we change anything here? Because sometimes what worked in the group stage might not work further down the road, and your support staff is supposed to be able to try to figure out and identify what you are going to have to look out for in your next match.
Well, we got here, these are the supports. So we're talking about support staff, but what about the supports in the game, Fear?
Yeah, I mean, they have unique hero pools. We just saw Bane in the last series, but until then, it was only Fishman playing this hero. And Kataomi, he's the only one playing Wyvern as a position 4. So they have their own version of the meta. They're winning with these heroes. Fishman with Kataomi with very unique styles, but Fishman in particular, he's had a very unique Bane style, and I think the reason why Bane is so effective for him is just the way he is playing it on the map and how he makes the rotations, especially to like the Wisdom runes. He's always there on time, and hopefully we'll get some clips here. We'll see as well that Fishman, he's gonna come walking in with a Bane, and we know Fishman loves to get these Wisdom runes. He'll die for them, but when he's playing for Bane, he usually doesn't die, because he'll just sleep you, and then he'll just take the Wisdom Rune. So in this game, he does the same thing, catches the Invis Pango, they get a kill for it, he gets the Wisdom Rune on top of it, and in other instances as well, he's able to make himself on the map and also get the kills.
Very generous of you, Fear, to pick one of the few clips where Fishman doesn't
watch
die.
Again. I mean, the thing is, that's Bane every game. This is a different game where they're playing Talon, right? He's also playing Bane. He manages to go over to here, sleep the enemy, gets another kill, and this is part of the reason why Bane is so strong for this team, is because he's at the right place at the right time almost every single game with this hero.
Yeah, I think so, and I think the rest of the C9 heroes that they pick allow them to play
Oh, this
Bane.
one was cool too, by the way, just in case you didn't see this one. Underlord made a gate for him to steal the 14-minute rune. He sleeps it, takes it, gates back to the bot lane. So if you are giving him Bane, you have to really keep an eye on your Wisdom runes, because he will steal them.
I mean, Jake, as you said there, like, oh, generous of Fear to pick the ones that it did work out. There's obviously a lot of Wisdom Rune invades that don't go too successfully for C9, but I will give them props. They're a team that's always either bringing numbers there or forcing rotations out from their opponents to have to look back towards their own map of, do we want to play defensive? Do we have to bring numbers just in case Fishman is there? Are we willing to even lose our Wisdom Rune? And now, you know, is Liquid one of those that is okay with it?
I think Liquid is the type of team that is very good at breaking down other teams as the tournament progresses and like pivoting to play against the style that the other team plays. Like they will not necessarily play Liquid style, they'll change it a little bit to deal with that. Like I could see them giving the Bane. I don't think they're going to be too afraid of it, even though it is Fishman, and I do think he is the best Bane in the world. I see Liquid as like leaving it in and then trying to punish it, maybe banning like the more OP heroes like No One's Monkey King mid. I think a big reason why Fishman can actually be Bane in so many of these games is because he always has a Monkey King mid. He always has these heroes that can actually abuse the fact that he's setting up. In some of those clips we saw he sleeps somebody and then Monkey King jumps over. No one's on Monkey King. Yeah. They'll pick him this into virtually anything. Like they don't care if he's countered by some dazzle or like a counter pick mid, it's fine. He'll like lose the lane just by a little bit and then make it up for in rotations.
I mean, the Tinker also really works very well with the Bane, where they pair it up together with a support as a support duo. Because you want one of the supports to be pushing out the lanes, and Bane, you don't really want to be doing any of the lane shove yourself. You want to be hiding in the trees and just waiting for someone. And Tinker is like the perfect partner for him to do that. You're shuffling out the lanes, you have global presence. If the Bane needs you, you can come.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9, they really prioritized that Tinker in the graphic we just saw. 5 times they picked it up for themselves over that group stage and playoffs as well. So teams have fluctuated a lot in if they think this Tinker is still the same Tinker, if it's still impactful as a couple patches ago, or if it's more scenario-based. And it feels like Cloud9, though, they think it is something that if they can get their hands on, they want it. They will pick it up, and it's very influential in that game.
It's not as good of a hero as it was. Like it was S tier, and then they nerfed it, then it was A tier. Now it's probably B tier.
Wow, you think all the way down to B?
I think so. I honestly, I think the only reason that it works for C9 is because all of their other picks. And
I'm sorry.
Like he stacks Ancients for himself.
Yeah.
The Ancient stack on the left and then the Ancient stack on the right while his team is making space for him. This is so to have your entire team changing their playstyle around one pick, you really have to be able to take that pressure and turn it into something exceptional, and he does every single time. So I could see that as being a second phase ban.
Yeah, these teams are vastly different.
Yeah, it's also something to do with the economy of the team. They put a lot of farm on the support, so I think he really likes to be playing on those like team fight based heroes. We saw with the Wyvern, like Tinker's like probably the best one to do that. Yeah, and you kind of see like the heroes moving around, usually either Fishman or no one, so he's taking the farm that's being left behind.
Yeah, and I think both their offlaners are vastly different as well. DM, we saw he's playing a lot of the Underlord and the offlane, Centaurs, these type of heroes. 33, he likes more of like the Visage, Beastmaster type of heroes.
Yeah, he summons.
Yeah, he does a lot of summons. So these teams don't have a lot of overlap, I think, in the heroes, because I don't think Boxy is really favoring the Tinker very much himself either. So between the offlanes specifically, there's not a lot of overlap. Sure, maybe in the carry position in the mid lane, they might share like the Monkey Kings and heroes like that, but the offlane's going to be something interesting to keep an eye on.
Okay, well, we can see just exactly how these two teams are going to deal with the respective off lanes, but I think looking towards the mid lane is going to be interesting for a lot of our viewers. You've got Noan, someone who has been in the scene for a very long time. He's had a little bit of a roller coaster in his career compared to Nisha, someone who has always mechanically been there, and people have always rated him in that top, let's say 5 at worst, if not top 3 mid laners in the world. And the results definitely show it since coming to Liquid. They've had very stable performances, but how would you rate it? How do you think a matchup of a 1v1 in this mid lane will pan out for the two sides?
It's going to be definitely like a really, really close one. Like both of those players are top-notch in terms of laning. But when it comes to the draft, I feel like they don't both get the same priority. That's sometimes something that you need to discuss when it goes to the laning matchup, Like who gets to the hero that is going to be having a better matchup. And for no one, I feel like they are more comfortable giving him the early pick, so he doesn't really care about the matchup, and you pick your other heroes later. Whereas for Nisha, he oftentimes gets his hero picked later, so he can see his matchup and decide what hero he's going to be playing.
Yeah. Both these players can take away a game very easily if they have a good start, so it's going to be interesting. And they also can punish you, so if you pick like a counter-pick matchup, you can definitely punish that. So last pick will be very important for both these teams, for these players.
I'm kind of looking at a little bit there, because Liquid have definitely waited to the last moments to pick it up, and I also know Cloud9, the way they like to draft Jenkins is we want no one to get that matchup. He wants to see what he's going up against, and very rarely actually wants to blind pick his mid-hero.
Yeah, I think that C9 is a lot more willing to pick no one into kind of whatever, because it makes the rest of their draft work. I think they're going to play their playstyle no matter what, and it's up to Liquid here to crack down on what C9 is doing rather than the other way around. I do want to talk about one thing, which is at the start of this tournament, there was this idea that this is a really good carry patch for Mickey, and I was wondering, like, how will the carry meta change, and will that still be the case, coming to the end of the tournament? I feel like it still looks really good on him. Like, Luna is a hero that we have seen rise in stock a lot, and Mickey looks like one of the best Luna players on the planet. Watson is actually another player that's playing a decent amount of Luna right now. So how do you guys feel about Mickey and his carry pool right now?
I think it's really
he likes hitting towers.
He likes hitting heroes too, I think. Like, he's very good at playing these heroes that take the gate, make a rotation on the map. outside of that, he'll show up to every single team fight, whether he's needed or not. If there's a team fight happening, he will TP to make sure that his team will win that team fight, and not a lot of carry players will do that.
Yeah, and we actually saw Insania and Mickey go through the portal together.
At 4 minutes.
Right? It was Treant plus Luna, and they were getting dumpstered by the Timber Lion lane.
Literally the worst lane I've ever seen Liquid have.
It was the worst lane. We're like, how are they going to recover from this? And they two-man go through the portal like it's some pub where they both are raging and don't want to lane together. They both just have to go through the portal. And then they get killed, they take the tower, they go back, and they open up the map again. So I think that's what makes Liquid so fast. That's what makes them so strong, is that they're able to adapt whenever they make a mistake like that. They can always figure out a way to win from any point in the game. And talking to Blitz, a lot of that is having played with Matumba Man. He is known as one of the best players in the world at figuring out how to end a game.
And I think they all learned a lot from him.
You can see that in how they play now.
Yeah, I mean, this Mickey hero pool that you're talking about, Wind Ranger, Luna, Razor, Monkey King, Weaver, Morph, Lena, Morana, Nature's Prophet, he's got so much. And I feel there's even potential for more in the back pocket, Jenkins. There still is potential for new picks to come out.
So ito yung limang yung 5 man kumpulan sila
listed a huge hero pool. This is one of the largest hero pools in terms of carries at the tournament. And yet these are all Mickey heroes. The rhetoric that it is a Mickey patch is absolutely correct. And carries are very important right now because they actually have impact in the early game.
Yeah, well, what's important as well is that we see a draft, and we do not want to disappoint. So let's get into game number 1 of this best of 3 between Cloud9 and Liquid.
Team Liquid versus Cloud9. Game 1.
Kaya pala, kanina pa ako atake tayo, wala masyadong dami.
We'll see that some of the bans are already there. We talked about how much Liquid's offlane loves their summons. You've got the Beastmaster banned out. You've got that Visage too. You've got the flex between the Nature's Prophet if it wants to go carry or mid. They don't want that potential. As well as the Storm Spirit, the Naga, Enigma, and Tinker here, which does leave Sand King open to be Liquid's first pickup.
Yeah, and this is a hero that both of them play, as we saw in the graphic earlier. So it's either Can33 can play it, or on the other side, they want to take it away from DM as well. So highly contested just because both these heroes, they don't share a huge hero pool, but this happens to be one of the S tier heroes that both of them like to play.
Monkey King straight away, trying to deal with or trying to limit the flexibility of the Sand King. And Monkey King for me is probably the mid laner right now of the patch. Very, very useful in the early stages after you win your lane, and you see a lot of emphasis during the 6 minute to the 8 minute. You guys were mentioning about the Wisdom Runes, how Fishman really likes to contest in the Wisdom Runes. And Monkey King is kind of the perfect mid hero to always be there, to connect, jumping around the trees and making sure he gets there on time to fight for the rune.
I'm interested that Liquid did not second phase ban the Bane, just considering that they did get the first pick Monkey. Because like you said, they really like to move Monkey around the map. Fishman, we talked about it for a long time that he is the Bane specialist, but I guess they feel like that sort of play style is achievable from also some other heroes that are still in the pool, like Fishman on Enchantress or Chen. Chen's not picked up so much, but Enchantress you can Clockwork, you can kind of run in there, Suicide for Wisdom Runes. Maybe you go down, but your Monkey King's going to show up and get some kills and get him into the game.
Cloud9 thinking hard about this ban, and I wonder, are you willing to ban out a carry, just show 2 cores for yourself here on the side of Cloud9, or is there a support that we're overlooking that Liquid could really thrive on that helps that Sand King a little bit if it were to end up there?
We see a lot of Shadow Demon against Monkey King, and it could also stack for the Sand King too. So that could be pretty good for Liquid if they want to go that route. Not sure if Insania wants to go it, but something they can think about, and Corona has been great as well.
I could see Liquid picking Willow with Sand King. Boxy has been enjoying this hero in general. Blink Dagger with the Facet, jumping in, doing a ton of damage. But we've talked about the weakness of Sand King as an offlaner, and it's the first 3 levels. And Willow and Hoodwink, these are the 2 strongest heroes. Maybe Snapfire at giving a very good first 3 levels of the laning phase. And Willow is just Boxy's current favorite hero.
Yep, take away the Shadow Demon. You guys already mentioned that it's really good with stacking. It's very good against the Monkey King in the game with the Purge. You have some save later in the team fight. SD is just overall a very, very strong hero right now. It's very hard to pass up this hero in the current state of the meta. The hero just does too much, especially the lane. It's very difficult to trade into the Shadow Demon. The Shadow Demon he does
put wing Snapfire role, you know, he can really help the Sand King in the first couple of levels if they decide to put that together.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they're kind of block picking Fishman here too. Hasn't picked up his hero. Bane would have been great versus the Mirana. With the Mirana, sorry. Same Clock would have been great with the Mirana too. Two heroes he likes playing, but you take away his Clockwork. Now you have Shadow Demon.
Hindi naman siya natatamaan ng Black Hole. Sayang, pwede
like
naman
you
yung
have to,
Fishman.
right? So like this is
such
really
a
good.
Fishman. This is such a Fishman classic. I think the first time we saw C9 pull this out in the tournament, it was in the same scenario against SD, against a bunch of counters. He doesn't care because it's not really a team fight thing for him, it's a map thing. And like the reason that Bane is countered by SD is because you grip somebody, SD imprisons them, they're saved. Like Bane can't get like a BKB or something to deal with that. You can't even get an Ags. Like you imprison the target that gets gripped and save them. Clockwork, same thing, you can hook the Bane in the back and get him while he's gripping. So this is a very nice drafting from Liquid. It's kind of 5-head.
Yeah, I mean, they knew it was coming, right? It was like, we know you want your Bane or Clockwork. We'll take the Clock, we'll take the SD. Now it's just not a good Bane game, and you're going to play it anyway. And he still knows how to play around these counters for sure. He's very good at this Bane. But we'll see how that works out. Now you need to decide what you wanna do. If you are on Liquid right now. If you want to hold the Sand King, you pick a carry here, which makes a lot of sense. You do see your lane. It is going to be a Mirana or a Bane in the off lane. Most likely, it's going to be that Mirana. Did you know Kataomi and Fishman, their most played hero in pubs is both Bane?
Not shocking.
I mean, they both love Bane, but Fishman loves it more, so most likely it's going to go to him.
I mean, how often do you have like support duos like playing the same heroes, you know? I mean, you see cores sharing similar hero pools, but it's rare that support duos have a very, very similar hero pool.
Yeah, usually because you want the supports to do very different things in a game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, fights get really hard, and so you pick players for your team that play these different roles. Like you get a guy who likes to play melee heroes and a guy that likes to play ranged heroes.
I mean, on top of that, going back to our discussion where Bane is not really good against the opposing heroes, but what Cloud9 does really well here is they're drafting very good heroes with the Bane. So with the Underlord and the Monkey King, I feel like those two cores really allow the Bane to roam the map with a lot of pressure. I think this is something that you don't really see other teams do a lot. Usually you have a draft, you try to prioritize making the core scheme better. But in C9, I feel like they put a lot of emphasis on making their support game in the early stages easy to execute.
For sure yung punch natin,
combinations.
Inakabang lang sa
they value that a lot.
It puts a lot of pressure on Fishman, though, as a player, that he's the one that's setting all of this up. Like, he's going to be walking in, nightmaring, setting up for the Underlord portal, setting up for the rotation, setting up for the arrow. So you need to have somebody who's extremely confident on their hero in order to have this much pressure. On a 5 position, when you have a 4 position that's taking ancient stacks. You know, like, Fishman he plays position 6, not position 5.
Typically, yeah. But Mirana, unfortunately, can't do ancient stacks, so someone will still have to do those. But I think this Wind Ranger pick was a little interesting. I was wondering what type of Gleipnir hero Mickey would play, or Luna, because that's just his hero pool in general. Yeah. But Wind Ranger versus Underlord, it's an interesting one. It's strong in the lane, for sure, but you're a natural Crimson buyer. You have the Atrophy era as well, which might limit Wind Ranger's Whirlwind damage in these team fights as well. So this matchup potentially in the past may have been pretty Wind Ranger favored, but I don't know if this one is particularly going to counter the Underlord. And I talked about it a lot before in the past that I think Bane is incredibly good versus Wind Ranger if you can catch her out. So Wind Ranger is really just relying a lot on the support cast to either cancel these grips and save them.
I do know that, I mean, Monkey King, when the Monkey King Wind Ranger matchup, it used to be considered very Wind Ranger favored because you could Wind Run and then focus fire the Monkey King. But how does that go now with Whirlwind? Is it really that bad for Monkey? Because I feel like he does get a good amount of armor in the ring that maybe it's not so bad.
I mean, you're still taking a lot of like magic damage from the blade, yeah.
Sure, okay, but not as necessarily bad. I mean, this leads me to think like Blitz drafts like this, where sometimes a pick looks a little weird, but they're aiming for a specific timing window. Maybe that timing is like a 2-minute window, maybe it's a 10-minute window, but sometimes he'll pick for that 2-minute window. It looks a bit weird, but then they execute well enough that they can win the game at that point. And that's kind of what this looks like to me with the Wind Ranger. They really value Mickey being able to go through the portal and being active with his hero super early. If it does go late, I do agree with the Crimson point, and then the Underlord also reducing the damage. Like, Windrunner will not look like she does in other games here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Liquid really cares about core-to-core matchups very much. they'd rather play their style of Dota, where they know exactly what to do at every moment in the game. Otherwise, you pick like your Ursas and Slogs, right, against the Underlord.
To counter it, yeah.
To counter it, but like they want to hit their timings. They want to play Liquid Dota. They want to play fast. And to be able to play fast, you have to pick fast heroes. More importantly, you have to know what to do at what minute of the time on the map. So I think they have a very Liquid-esque lineup, which is very promising, but I also feel like C9 does as well. I'm very curious to see where they're going to put this Monkey King. Do you want to flex it? I have not been a big fan of the carry Monkey King, but I think in this scenario, you might want to consider it and throw this Monkey King against the Sand King. It's a good matchup.
Yeah,
pick
well,
something else mid.
Now even more so with the Sniper being picked up. That is
Ay,
a good
gago.
matchup for the Monkey King. Of course, going late, Monkey King is
Pwede ba din na yun sa
you
ano?
get the Aghanim Shard
Ma-
right on
Maledict.
top of him, but this is a laning stage counter. They're trying to make Monkey's lane
Kaso turbo,
very
kaso
miserable.
turbo to.
What lane's for Sniper now?
Ito lang ba?
Does anything? Because like I know no one can just take it mid.
Queen lane well.
I don't know.
You can kill him maybe? I don't know.
And if you go the Shadow Strike route, I've seen that before. But no one actually goes the Shadow Strike route as much.
He plays Storm, but that's banned, so a lot of the mids are actually banned. And I know a lot of these MK players, they don't mind just going mid and having a bad lane and just making the rotations as well, so it's really up to them if they feel like there's a better carry pick that could potentially be in the pool as well.
Luna's definitely still there.
I mean, it could still be a Watson Mirana, and then
it's possible.
We get another 4 position if there's a good one for
Yun pala.
Katomi.
That one seems a little rough, I think. I feel like there has to be a better core.
Wala
for
pa
either
ice pot.
the safe lane or the mid.
And
We'll be in old school in the
Okay.
Zeus.
Yeah.
This is one like I don't really want to win mid, but I don't want to lose mid either. So they're gonna trade farm there, and typically when you go for the Aghanim Scepter with the Zeus, you will have a way to just jump on top of heroes like Sniper, maybe even Wind Ranger, potentially the supports. But Zeus is not meta right now. This is not a hero we see a
Wait
lot,
lang,
and not
naka-agree
particularly
siya.
very strong, but it could be good in this game.
And they have a very, very apparent team. They have global Zeus, Underlord, Monkey King running around. Maybe you don't do so
Shit.
well in the early game, but I
Tayo
think
na,
they have
pre.
a lot of tools to kill
Paano
a sniper, to find the sniper. You know, I think sniper is gonna be food throughout the game if he
Kailangan
doesn't
malapit
get
ako,
hit
pre.
by a huge margin.
What's the build and the window though for the side of Cloud9, Jenkins? Because you said that Liquid, they like to build or at least draft around that small timing for themselves, no matter how small or big it is. But what about Cloud9? Where does that Zeus come online, and where does he really enable the rest of what's happening in that draft?
I will say the Sniper does throw a wrench in the idea that C9 has some like impervious late game versus Liquid. I'm not entirely sure the strength of current Zeus in the late game because it's not been meta. The last time it was meta, it was the Manta style build.
Yeah, it was pretty much broken, where you could build right-click and magic damage on him.
But I do believe in the, I mean, they just buffed his Lightning Bolt, and that scales with the Aghanim Scepter, and I think people are going to go for a magical damage build. I believe in the Zeus late game. I think it'll do fine in lane against Sniper. I think both sides have timings.
Well, look, we're going to get some more information around that Zeus, around that Cloud9 draft. Tsunami does have a Steenie with him right now.
Thank you very much, and that as I am standing by with Cloud9's coach Astini, and I'm getting a sense of deja vu, because I feel like it was not just 1 year ago, you and I were standing on stage in Seattle, and I was watching you coach a dark horse team of Nouns. You guys made it to top 8, and here you are doing it again, but I want to know what lessons you learned from that Nouns run that you're going to apply here in Copenhagen.
I learned to dodge GG the most I can. So now we have Liquid, and I'm pretty sure we can beat them.
Well, that means I got bad news for you, because if you win this, then there's a very real chance you might face them later on.
But then we'll be ready.
Okay. So that means you're feeling this pick then? You're feeling this draft?
Yes, ready to win game
May
1.
ano naman ako yung naka-sidestep.
Are you feeling
Sila umabot.
Then let's get into game number 1.
I know I'm feeling it. Back in 2017, Mickey, Insania, and Boxy were once the newbies in the European scene playing against veterans. 7 years and 4 international attendances later, this trio of Liquid are the veterans, and they face a more junior team in Cloud9. But this is a team that is unique. They're hungry, and they're coming for Liquid, I think.
This is also another storied org in the history of Dota 2, right? Returning to the main stage here in Copenhagen and bringing some familiar names that the fans are very familiar with. To me, this has been a storied return for No One in this event. He is the player I'm looking at the most, maybe in this entire game, to decide the fate of this series, because he has been absolutely dominating, absolutely popping off, but he is going up against a staunch foe in Nisha. Not an easy player to lane against, not an easy player to play against. Maybe one of the most historically successful mid players of all time. So this is going to be a tough task for him to find the same sort of game impact we've seen him have over the course of this event. And not only that, I mean, Austin, did they handicap him? They put him on Zeus.
I know, what is this? No One Zeus coming back. I feel like I'm watching Dota from 2016, but it's a Zeus versus Sniper. Cloud9, I love the fact you pointed out No One's performance so far at this event, because this is a squad, Cloud9 squad, that multiple players have been to TI before. Entity has been there multiple years, in fact, but to be able to make top 8 and perhaps much further than that, it may come off the back of No One's performance here today. See if he can roll back the years. Watch that lane matchup. Already, Nisha 6-0, but a little bit of action bottom and top lane as we are looking for kills on either side. And Kataomi, who's going to be the one dropped by Insania for first blood.
Very difficult lane to play the level 1 against. Battery plus power shot, basically the strongest level 1 nuke coming out of any carry. Just catches you off guard, and the blood grenade trade not favorable here. To me, Cloud9, they want to kind of mitigate the damage on the side lanes early here till they get the Zeus ult online, and then you can start to ramp up the pressure. You did take this Divine Rampage facet on No One as well, so if you can get a fast Zeus ult here, and then up the action on these two side lanes, maybe get some setups with the Bane or with an arrow, you're looking at some early kills here. Of course, Liquid, they're just going to race to the auras. This is the type of style they've been playing the whole event. Get the auras up on 33 and combat the 5-on-5. It's going to be a really strong pipe as this game progresses.
Boxy, a little bit outmaneuver there. Goes for the disruption on Fishman to make sure he can secure the D-warded sentry, make sure that Easy Camp stays blocked, and take a courier on the way out, too.
That had entire boots on it. That is a huge loss for Watson in this laning stage. I mean, you rush boots on the Monkey King so you can pressure these offlane melee heroes. Just going to be missing it for 2 minutes almost now. Brutal loss for this lane. A lot of gold out the window. Liquid can maybe try and take advantage of this a bit, or just secure an even better laning stage for 33. He is absolutely cruising through this CS right now.
Talking about some unique pickups, I feel like for the most part, Liquid have drafted what we expect out of them. I feel like they almost didn't change their draft too much according to what Cloud9 was picking up. Cloud9, though, did pick up some unique heroes, though typical for them. Once again, we're going to see their Bane in action, a support that not many other teams are willing to take a chance on. And then, of course, this last pick, Zeus, also a bit of swerve there in the draft. Cloud9 certainly cooking up something different. Do you feel like this actually addresses what Liquid have been doing all tournament long?
If you don't get sucked into the early fights and the straight 5-on-5s, yes, I think you can play the map, you can split them up, you can find the pickoffs and the setup. But that is going to be a tall order here because, as we've seen, Liquid is a very fast team. They're one of the fastest teams at the event, maybe the fastest. They will absolutely roll you over if you give them a laning lead. And they will dominate the team fights into early Roshans if you can't contest them. So that's the one concern here, is if your Underlord can't match what this Sand King outputs, if No One just is outputting the most damage in the game, but it's all just getting absorbed by sustain or early auras, you're going to find yourself in trouble very fast this game if Liquid can pump up their 2 ranged carries and give one of them Aegis.
Got him inside the cogs, but Insania, of course, kind of countered by the Mirana existence. You can get that kill once, but once he gets to level 2, Leap becomes available. And Insania is going to have a much harder time getting kills in this lane against this duo. But part of the speed that Liquid has brought to this tournament has been using the gate, right? I feel like all of these upper bracket teams have been making sure to take advantage of the gate rotations as much as possible. And that's one thing we're going to have to keep an eye on. Not just the support in Insania's Clockwork, but also Mickey going through, as that has kind of been his signature move for, well, pretty much ever since the gates became a thing.
Maybe that's part of the reason they went back for this Monkey King first pick. I mean, we've seen them dominate with it mid, but this is also a carry you can rotate through the gate yourself or can be good against those early gate rotations, but you absolutely have to be prepared for them here if you are C9. We're going to see more early trade in Fishman out pretty far, still Burrow Strike.
Yeah, hits him with that, disrupts the Monkey King, finishes off the Fishman Bane with ease. And Watson, well, he may have gotten the force